Chapter 53. Actually, Xiao-san, it's fine if you have fun. Lin Feng had a strange expression on his face as he looked at Tang-san. He suddenly realized that he seemed to have led Tang-san astray. He was really too steady. In the entire continent, those who could reach rank 29 at the age of 12 were the top geniuses. The strength that the two of you displayed was already like this, let alone the fact that you were hiding your cultivation as soul elders. Although Xiao Wu's temperament wasn't as steady as Tang San's, and her cultivation was slightly lower than his, a 12-year-old rank 31 soul elder was already enough to stupefy the Shrek Academy's recruitment teachers. Fengge, this test is too low level. Don't worry, I definitely won't slack off. You taught me before that I can't slack off no matter when or where. I've always remembered these words. Looking at Tang San's resolute eyes, Lin Feng looked up at the sky and sighed. As expected, this child had been led astray by him. On the side, Xiao Wu's expression instantly turned sour when she heard this. Is this also a test? Then, she hurriedly said, Fengge, I take back what I said just now. I'm not going to play either. I'll accompany Xiao-san to cultivate for a few days. The so-called test was that in the previous 4 years, Lin Feng would randomly inspect them. There were all kinds of methods for the inspection. Sometimes it was to ask a small question, sometimes it was to let them hunt soul beasts, and sometimes it was to test their reaction speed. In any case, the test could be said to be a kind of restriction on their behavior. If the two of them passed the test, then it was nothing. It meant that they had remembered some of the knowledge that Lin Feng taught them. But if they weren't careful and didn't pass the test, then they would have to accept some punishment according to the situation of the test. If they were lucky, Lin Feng would only punish them with some physical training. If they were unlucky, then Lin Feng would reward them with a chance to spar. That's right, it was to spar with Lin Feng. If they were beaten up one-sidedly, Lin Feng wouldn't be merciful. They would be beaten into a pig's head. Although no matter what kind of punishment it was, the final result was good for the two of them. It was really uncomfortable during the period. So at this moment, Xiao Wu's expression immediately changed. Lin Feng said helplessly, Actually, this isn't a test. It's fine if you guys play around. Fengge will definitely maintain our condition well. The two of them said in unison. Their expressions were incomparably resolute. Lin Feng didn't say anything. After a pause, he said, Let's go. Let's find a hotel and eat something to fill our stomachs. Hearing this, the two of them immediately followed, while Xiao Wu was extremely pleased with herself. Brother Feng still wants to lure us into a trap? I'm not that stupid. Don't think I didn't know this is a test. If he said that he wanted to go out to play, then he would definitely suffer. Fengge, I've seen through you. Soto City was indeed an important city at the border. There were a lot of people moving around, and the lodging business was also very developed. As they walked forward, they could see many places where people could stay. However, most of them were similar to hotels and guest houses. Ordinary people, or those small merchants who ran their goods, would stay in such places. Lin Feng and the other two didn't lack money. They didn't care about those places at all, and kept walking forward. Not long after, the three of them arrived at the entrance of a uniquely decorated hotel. The hotel didn't look very big. However, the exterior decoration was completely rose red. The architectural style of the entire hotel was also like a huge rose. It could easily make one's eyes light up. That's right, this hotel was the Rose Hotel. Xiao Wu's eyes were sharp. After seeing it, she immediately said that she wanted to stay here. Xiao Wu wanted to stay. As her brothers, how could they not let her stay? So they came together. When the three of them walked through the entrance, the receptionist at the front desk had good eyesight. He could tell that the three of them were dressed differently. He immediately went up with a smile. Is there anything I can help you with? 3 rooms. I want the best. Tang-san extended 3 fingers. When the three of them went out together, Tang-san would usually be the one doing the talking. It was called training Xiao-san's social skills. In reality, Lin Feng was just too lazy to speak. Please wait a moment. I need to check the empty rooms. The receptionist smiled. After a few seconds, he said respectfully, Honorable guests, our hotel only has one room, the best red ocean. The bed in that room is very big. It's more than enough to sleep 2 people. After a pause, the receptionist seemed to be implying something. Even if it's just a squeeze, it's still possible to sleep 3 people. People in the Douluo continent matured early. There were many who got married around the age of 15. At the age of 12, they were already very mature. The people who came to the Rose Hotel were usually here for business. In addition, the receptionist saw 2 men and a woman coming over. So, are there no other rooms? Tangsen looked calm. The receptionist replied, then we're only left with the next best purple Roland. You're in luck. These 3 rooms are the only high-class rooms we have. All right then, open all 3 rooms for me. We'll be renting them for 2 days. How much is it? Purple Roland is 5 gold coins a day. Red Ocean is 10 gold coins a day. It's a total of 40 gold coins. The receptionist quickly replied. It had to be said that the gap between the rich and the poor in this world was really big. In Notting City, an ordinary commoner's house only cost 7 gold coins to rent for 6 years. In the Rose Hotel, the price was about the same for a day. TSK. The happiness of the rich was something that ordinary people could never experience. It's cheap. Lin Feng smiled. With a wave of his hand, 40 gold coins appeared on the front desk. Tang Sen originally wanted to pay, but since Lin Feng, this rich guy, was willing to pay, of course, he would pay. Just as the receptionist was collecting the money and going through the procedures, a slightly arrogant voice came from behind the 3 of them. I say, this top-notch room should be mine, right? Tang Sen turned around and saw a boy and 2 girls. The 2 girls were twins. They were very beautiful, but they did not attract Tang Sen's attention. Instead, it was the tall boy in white clothes in the middle who caught Tang Sen's attention. This guy was about 1.8 meters tall and had a pair of evil eyes. Both of his eyes were actually double pupils. The tall boy looked down at the 3 of them. Other than pausing for a second on Xiao Wu, he ignored Lin Feng and Tang Sen. Lin Feng recognized this guy at a glance. He was Dai Mubai, who was known as the evil-eyed white tiger. Under the gaze of the 3 of them, Dai Mubai came to the receptionist at the front desk and said loudly, Are you new? Don't you know that one of the top class rooms here is reserved for me? You are? The receptionist was a little surprised. He was indeed new. Dai Mubai said impatiently, Call your manager out. Chapter 54. After hearing Dai Mubai's words, the waiter looked over, then looked over, with an awkward expression. Tang Sen chuckled. This room seems to have been reserved by us, and we've even paid for it. Don't tell me this big brother doesn't even know the rules of first come, first served? So what? Dai Mubai didn't even look at Tang Sen, as if Tang Sen wasn't even qualified to be looked at by him. Nothing. Hurry up and scram. Otherwise, I'll beat you into a pig's head. Over the years, Xiao Wu's temper had been toned down a lot. However, when her mistress was ignored like this, her anger immediately flared up. On the other hand, Lin Feng grabbed a handful of dried fruits and leisurely sat down on the sofa, looking like he was watching a good show. The current Tang Sen was much stronger than in the original work. Now that he met Dai Mubai for the first time, Lin Feng was very interested in who would win and who would lose. Xiao Wu was a cute little girl, but she could actually say such domineering words, which attracted Dai Mubai's attention. His evil gaze fell on Xiao Wu, and he nodded. Very good. You actually told me to scram. I haven't heard anyone speak to me like this in a long time. I see the soul power fluctuations on your bodies, so you should be soul masters too. How about this? The 3 of you can come at me together. As long as you can beat me, I'll leave immediately. Otherwise, I really want to see the 3 of you vividly perform the action of scram for me. 3? Xiao Wu sneered. Aren't you thinking too highly of yourself? If I, Fenggu, make a move, I can blow you away with a breath. Hearing this, Dai Mubai raised his eyebrows. You're talking about the one lying on the sofa and eating behind you? These 3 people were all around 12 years old. Lin Feng looked a little older, so he immediately knew who this Fenggu was. As for blowing him away with a breath, They really didn't know how to brag. How powerful could 3 12-year-old brats be? Being a sole grandmaster was already pretty good. Even if there were 3 of them, he wouldn't even frown. Tang San and Xiao Wu turned around, their eyes filled with resentment. Just now, Lin Feng's movements were silent. Both of them were distracted by Dai Mu Bai, so they didn't notice Lin Feng's movements at all. Xiao San. Lin Feng called out his name and didn't say anything else. There was already a strong tacit understanding between the 3 of them. Although there was only one name, Tang San knew that Lin Feng wanted him to send Dai Mu Bai away. Of course, Xiao Wu also understood. She immediately said, "Why Xiao San? I want to do it myself with Feng Ge. I want to beat him up so badly that even his mother can't recognize him." Ouch. Before she finished speaking, Lin Feng threw a walnut at Xiao Wu's head to fill her brain. "You're swearing again." "Oh, I won't say any more." Xiao Wu made an aggrieved expression, then silently took half a step back. The scene in front of him made Dai Mu Bai doubt his life. But soon, he said arrogantly, "The 3 of you should come at me together. That way, you might still have a chance. Otherwise, with this punch of mine, you might not even be able to get up." Tang San smiled slightly and stepped forward lightly. "Let's see who can't get up later." "Good boy. You're a little arrogant." Dai Mu Bai smiled and became serious. Although he knew that Tang San was only a 12-year-old child and was definitely not very strong, for some reason, he felt that the other party was a little threatening in his heart. Just as he was about to make a move, a middle-aged man suddenly rushed out from the side. He was dressed gorgeously, and the waiter who had received them before was beside him. With one look, it was obvious that this middle-aged man was the hotel's management. "Let's talk things out. Let's talk things out. Let's not fight." From afar, he anxiously shouted, "Manager Wang, there's nothing else to talk about. These 3 arrogant fellows, I'm going to beat them up today." It was the first time that he, Dai Mu Bai, had met such a group of arrogant brats. He had to teach them a lesson. "Young Master Dai, you can't do that. You." The middle-aged man had a pleading look on his face. The destructive power of a battle between soul masters was very strong, and he did not dare to say that he would fight outside. Both sides were soul masters, and he could not afford to offend either of them. As a part-time lobby manager, he was about to cry at this moment. Fortunately, Dai Mu Bai also understood his difficulties and directly interrupted, "Cut the crap. All the losses will be on me." As soon as these words came out, Manager Wang breathed a sigh of relief and immediately shut up. Seeing this, Tang San made a fighting stance. "Please advise me." Dai Mu Bai's eyes flashed with an evil light. He suddenly raised his right fist and rushed forward, aiming straight for Tang San's chest. This action was simple and direct, without any extra movements. Tang San could tell at a glance that this guy had rich combat experience and was not just for show. However, perhaps because the other party saw that he was young, he still held back in the end. Tang San did not care about that. He also threw a punch with his right hand, and, at the same time, he used the mysterious jade hand. His hand instantly turned milky white. Bang! The 2 fists collided, and a muffled sound was heard. Tang San did not move half a step from his original position, and his face was as calm as ever. Looking at Dai Mu Bai, he was actually forced back 3 to 4 steps, and his face was full of surprise. How is this possible? A 12-year-old brat, although he only threw a probing punch, was actually forced back. From this, it could be seen that Tang San's strength was not inferior to his. A soul elder? No, he couldn't be. A 12-year-old soul elder, if such a genius could appear, he would immediately get the hell out of here. Could it be that his opponent also had a powerful beast soul like him? But Dai Mu Bai's white tiger was also an extremely high-level existence. He was a grand soul elder. How could he be inferior to a soul grandmaster? Right? That guy's fist just now turned pure white. It should be some kind of special use of soul force, combined with a powerful beast soul. That's why his strength was so strong. In an instant, Dai Mu Bai saw through Tang San's details. Not bad, you have some strength. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. You could be considered my opponent. Dai Mu Bai laughed lightly. But it ends here. That punch just now was only a probe. Now I'm going to be serious. As his voice fell, Dai Mubai once again moved and fiercely attacked Tang San. However, Tang San was not a soft persimmon. 3 soul rings gave him a powerful boost in strength, and his body was extremely strong. Combined with the otherworld's techniques, as well as his understanding of how to use strength, Tang San was able to easily deal with Dai Mubai's brazen killing technique. In just 3 short moves, Tang San seized the opportunity. His feet moved, and his shoulders suddenly exerted strength, easily knocking Dai Mubai to the ground. Chapter 55. After Dai Mubai was knocked over, although he quickly got up, his expression was very ugly. The surrounding onlookers were all stunned by this scene. They all knew that Dai Mubai was a soul elder. Although he didn't use his soul power, he was actually defeated by a 12-year-old child. This really surprised them. Xiao Wu didn't care about this. She first praised Xiao San, then mocked Dai Mubai. Hey, weren't you quite capable just now? You lost in just a few moves? To be honest, Dai Mubai was also quite stunned. When he fought with Tang San just now, he clearly used his full strength, but the other party's hands were like millstones, and his strength was easily dissolved. After a few moves, his entire attack rhythm collapsed, and then he was knocked down. He clearly wanted to turn the situation around during the fight, but before he could react, he was defeated. Lin Feng also nodded slightly at this scene. The reason why Tang San was so strong, apart from himself, was mostly because of Lin Feng. Following Lin Feng, he learned a lot, whether it was the experience of exchanging pointers with people or fighting with soul beasts. With these factors superimposed, the current Tang San had the strength to win even if he faced Dai Mubai at full strength. This wasn't because Dai Mubai was weak, but because Tang San was too strong. Of course, after hiding his strength for so long, and even a master was fooled, Tang San wouldn't expose his true strength because of a small battle. You should stop here. However, before Tang San could speak, the irritable Xiao Wu had already punched him. Young Master Dai, why are you so weak? Get lost. Don't be beaten until you cry later. Dai Mubai's hair stood on end when he heard this. Originally, he saw that Tang San was such a genius and should have registered at their Shrek Academy. Maybe they would be classmates in the future, so he thought that he would just casually say a few words later and then leave. Now that he was continuously ridiculed, he immediately became angry. I lost this match, I should leave. However, a battle between soul masters should be based on soul power. Do you dare to fight with me with your martial soul? Why wouldn't I dare? Of course I dare. I will beat you until ouch. Xiao Wu turned her head bitterly. Feng Ge, you hit my head again. You will become stupid. Lin Feng only responded to Xiao Wu with a chuckle. Without Xiao Wu causing trouble, Tang San calmly said, If you want to continue, I have no objections. Speaking of which, Dai Mubai was the first genius soul master of the same age that Tang San had met outside of Lin Feng and Xiao Wu. He was still very interested to be able to compete with such a person. Very good. Dai Mubai coldly shouted, White Tiger, possess. A pale white light emitted from Dai Mubai's body. In an instant, his muscles swelled, and his hair changed from gold to black and white. A faint king character appeared on his head. These changes were actually not bad and could be considered normal. However, his hands were very abnormal. They had actually doubled in size. As his 10 fingers flicked, his 8-inch long claws continuously stretched out and shone with a cold light. After the possession ended, Dai Mubai's soul rings also rose from his feet. 2 yellow and 1 purple soul rings. The pressure of a soul elder came crashing down. Dai Mubai, Martial Soul White Tiger, rank 37 Soul Elder, please advise me. Dai Mubai announced his martial soul and rank, which represented an official challenge. Hearing this, Tang San also became serious. With a flip of his hand, the slightly changed blue-silver grass appeared in the palm of his hand. It emitted a faint blue light that appeared very gentle. Tang San, Martial Soul Blue-Silver Grass, Rank 29 Auxiliary Type Soul Grandmaster, please advise me. As his voice fell, 2 yellow soul rings appeared beside Tang San and continuously revolved around him. Normal soul masters would reveal all of their soul rings at once when revealing their soul rings. This was a subconscious move, and at the same time, it was also a way to respect their opponent. However, this did not mean that soul masters could only reveal all of their soul rings at once. In fact, as long as they went through a little bit of training, they could control the number of soul rings they could reveal. It was very clear that Tang San was already very familiar with this operation. After hearing Tang San's words, the serious expression on Dai Mubai's face was instantly replaced by astonishment. Blue silver grass? And an auxiliary type soul master? Are you King kidding me? Clearly, he did not believe that Tang San was an auxiliary type soul master. However, when he heard the words auxiliary type, Dai Mubai subconsciously felt that Tang San's fighting strength would not be very strong. This was exactly the effect that Tang San wanted. According to Lin Feng's theory, one had to be reserved when dealing with internal matters. To external matters, one could blindly say whatever they wanted. In any case, one would be done in the end. There are no trash martial souls, only trash soul masters. After saying this indifferently, Tang San directly made his move. First soul skill, bind. Taking advantage of Dai Mubai's surprise, Tang San's blue-silver grass suddenly turned into a long snake and arrived in front of Dai Mubai in the blink of an eye, as if to wrap him up. The latter was somewhat arrogant, thinking that the little blue-silver grass would be very weak. The sharp claws on his palm waved, wanting to cut the grass. However, the blue-silver grass's hardness was far beyond his imagination. By the time Dai Mubai reacted and used his first soul skill, White Tiger Shield, his entire body was wrapped up. Right at this moment, Tang San's second soul ring lit up. Second soul skill, parasitism. Countless seeds spread out from the blue-silver grass and stuck to Dai Mubai's body. As long as Tang San's soul power surged, these seeds would instantly turn into vines and bind Dai Mubai. Furthermore, his blue-silver grass was poisonous. Under this binding, the poison had already invaded Dai Mubai's body. In a short period of time, Dai Mubai wouldn't feel it, but it wouldn't be long before he was paralyzed and collapsed. You've already lost. Looking at the tightly bound Dai Mubai, Tang San said with a smile. Despicable. You're obviously a control-type soul master, but you actually said that you're an auxiliary-type soul master. How can there be someone like you? Dai Mubai felt very angry. I'm just pretending to be weak. Tang San said indifferently. What a good show of weakness. Dai Mubai glanced at Tang San, then shouted in a low voice, Third soul skill, White Tiger Vajra, transformation. For a moment, an enormous power rippled out, and the vines that Tang San wrapped around Dai Mubai's body were all broken. The poison, parasitic seeds, and other negative effects were all bounced off. This scene made Tang San ready for battle. However, in the next second, Dai Mubai said, Tang San, right? You're very strong. If you only had 2 soul rings, I would have really lost. But it's a pity that I'm a soul elder. Once I use my third soul skill, I'm much stronger than you. In the face of absolute power, some small tricks are useless. But a loss is a loss. The room belongs to you. What do you mean belongs to us? It was originally ours, Xiao Wu said loudly. Chapter 56. Ignoring Xiao Wu, Dai Mubai turned to Tang San and smiled. I think we'll meet again soon. When you get to Shrek Academy, if anyone comes looking for trouble with you, just tell them my name, Dai Mubai. After he finished speaking, Dai Mubai waved at the twins and left as if he were fleeing. Although his domineering aura from his third soul skill had intimidated the crowd, he had almost lost all of his face in the previous 2 moves. Most importantly, Dai Mubai could sense that the one with the highest status wasn't Tang San, but rather Lin Feng, who had been sitting behind him as if he were watching a play. Xiao Wu didn't seem to be afraid of Tang San, but when Lin Feng spoke, the little girl immediately shut up. His status was clear at a glance. If this Tang San was already so powerful, then what about Lin Feng, who was respected by the 2 of them? Wasn't he even stronger? These 3 people were each more abnormal than the other. It seemed like this year's Shrek Academy would be filled with monsters. Feng Ge, are we just going to let him go like this? Xiao was somewhat unwilling. What else do you want? Let him crawl? Lin Feng laughed and stood up. For what he said, he should also be from Shrek Academy. Maybe he'll even be your senior in the future. It won't be good to have a bad relationship. Also, that guy's a rank 37 Soul Elder. Even Xiao San might not be able to beat him. You? Don't mess around. Who are you looking down on? Xiao Wu bared her fangs and brandished her claws as she rushed forward. Lin Feng easily avoided her and shouted at Manager Wang, who was still a loss. Room key? The latter was startled awake and hurriedly went forward to offer the key in a fawning manner. 3 esteemed soul masters, this is the key. These 3 were all genius soul masters. Even a soul elder like young Master Dai had admitted defeat. They couldn't afford to offend them. Without much interaction, the 3 of them quickly arrived in front of the room after asking about the location of the room. Although the attendant said that there were differences between the 3 high-class rooms, they were actually not much different. They were all incomparably luxurious. Originally, the 2 of them wanted to give the top room to Lin Feng, but the room was full of red roses. Lin Feng couldn't stand the atmosphere and threw it to Xiao Wu. Xiao was very happy. As soon as she came in, she kept bouncing on the big bed. It had to be said that this room was very big, and the decorations were also very luxurious. The 3 of them first gathered in this room and ate the food sent over by the hotel. Of course, Lin Feng didn't eat much. He still had to leave some space in his stomach to taste the delicacies. He only ate a little symbolically. After they finished eating, Lin Feng invited them for the 3rd time. I'm going out to play in the city. Who wants to come? This is not a test. Lin Feng's purpose was to go out to play and taste the delicacies here. It was a little boring to be alone, so he wanted to find someone to accompany him. However, Xiao Wu smiled proudly and said, Brother Feng, we're not stupid. You've already said the word test. Isn't this clearly a test? How can we be fooled? Lin Feng was speechless. He suddenly realized that Tang San had been led astray by him, and Xiao Wu, on the other hand, was like a bird startled by the twang of a bow. This was not good, very bad. He had to find a chance to correct it in the future. But now, of course, the delicacies were more important. Forget it if you don't want to come. With a light snort, Lin Feng left directly. Not long after he left, Xiao Wu seemed to react and asked Tang San, Why did Feng leave so quickly? That wasn't a test. I don't think so, Tang San said while holding back his laughter. Then why didn't you remind me? With that, Xiao Wu was about to chase after him. Tang San did not stop her and only asked, Xiao Wu, do you think Feng is strong? Of course he's strong. Xiao Wu stopped in her tracks, subconsciously, as she recalled. That's right, it's the invincible kind. When we were in the soul-hunting forest, no matter what happened, Feng could easily deal with it. He's too powerful. Yeah, Tang San also sighed. I still remember last year when we took on a 1,000-year soul beast hunting mission. Because we went too deep into the forest, we actually encountered a 3,000-year violent bear. At that time, I thought I was going to die, but Feng stepped forward bravely and destroyed the parking lot with a tornado to chase the bear away. I estimate that Feng Ge's strength is at least level 45. It might even be possible for him to reach level 50 soon. Xiao Wu nodded. I think so too. Feng has always been mysterious and never told us his specific strength. We have to guess every time. So what do you think about this? Tang San asked with a smile. Keep pestering Feng until you get the answer? Xiao Wu answered tentatively. Hearing this, Tang San's face tightened. He took out the dignity of his second brother and said loudly, I think your brain has really been beaten silly by Feng. I want you to work hard to cultivate. Can't you see that the gap between us and Feng is so big? Why aren't you working hard? You only think about playing all day long. You still had a chance to beat me in the first year. Now, other than using your 3rd soul skill to touch me, you can't even get close to me. Feng is playing because he has the strength. The 2 of us don't have that, so we should work hard. After hearing Tang San's words, Xiao Wu was a little unhappy at first. However, as she listened, she also realized this point. The gap between the 2 of them and Lin Feng was too big. In order to catch up to Feng, they had to work harder. There was no shortcut. Third brother, you're right. I need to work hard to cultivate. Xiao Wu clenched her fist. Her fighting spirit was high. Even the way she addressed him became serious. In response, Tang Sen nodded his head in satisfaction. Not to mention the two of them who were cheering in the room. Lin Feng was already walking on the streets of Soto City. To be precise, it was a foodie street in the center of the city. This place was full of delicacies. There were delicacies from Soto City and from other places. Anyway, it was a food street. Just as he arrived, Lin Feng could hear some loud shouts. Sugar figurines, super sweet sugar figurines. If they're not sweet, they're free. Secret wonton, delicious wonton, 3 copper coins for a bowl. Cornbread, 1 copper coin for 4 bowls, hee hee. Star Luo Empire's specialty, big bowl of noodles. This bowl of noodles is long and wide. This bowl is big and round. You can eat your fill for 10 copper coins. It's delicious and affordable. The shouts were undulating. Coupled with the rich fragrance, it whetted one's appetite. However, the last 2 shouts made Lin Feng feel weird, especially that big bowl of noodles. It aroused Lin Feng's intense curiosity. He decided to go and eat it. This was an open-air noodle stall. Business was exceptionally good. The seats were almost full. Lin Feng swept a glance. There was only an empty seat for 2 people in the corner. Lin Feng immediately walked over and waved his hand. "Waiter, give me a bowl of noodles." "All right, please wait for a moment. The noodles will be served soon," the waiter replied from afar. While waiting for the noodles, Lin Feng did not idle around. He looked around and thought about which stall to eat later. Suddenly, a young lady sat down on the last empty seat in front of Lin Feng. With just a glance, Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. Chapter 57. Sitting in front of Lin Feng was an extremely beautiful girl. Her face was even younger than Xiao Wu, probably not even 12 years old. Her long black hair draped over her shoulders, paired with her black clothes, gave off a cold feeling. Actually, this was considered normal, but her figure was too voluptuous. If one didn't look at her face, she would look like an adult girl. Especially her chest, just like the slogan of this noodle stall, big and round. Walking on the street, she would probably attract the attention of all the men. "Give me a bowl of noodles." The girl sat down opposite Lin Feng, her cold voice coming out of her mouth. "Okay, please wait a moment. The noodles will be served soon." The waiter responded as usual. Maybe it was because the girl's figure was too hot. The moment she sat down, the surrounding people who were eating noodles all looked over. The latter didn't move, as if she was used to this situation. She just glanced around, and everyone lowered their heads and continued eating. Lin Feng, on the other hand, was looking at the girl without restraint, as if he was thinking about something. Cough, cough. Everyone, don't misunderstand. Lin Feng wasn't looking at her chest, but her whole body. This seems to be more overboard. Suddenly, the girl's eyes stared at Lin Feng, ignoring him for a few seconds. Lin Feng didn't feel awkward at all, but continued to look as if he didn't realize that this was a rude thing to do. The girl frowned and opened her mouth. "Have you seen enough?" Her voice was as cold as usual, the standard ice goddess. "Not enough," Lin Feng said subconsciously. "You." The girl's originally cold face instantly showed anger. Her Ice Mountain goddess persona collapsed in an instant. In fact, she had never seen someone as shameless as Lin Feng. He was obviously a boy about the same age as her. How could he be so shameless? Usually, when she raised her head under the pressure of her aura, those men would avert their eyes, not daring to look at her again. Even some of the stronger ones would subconsciously feel embarrassed when he said, "Have you seen enough?" Then, they wouldn't look at her anymore. After all, they still wanted to save face. But now, Lin Feng was sitting right in front of him, and the distance between them was less than a meter. The other party was still looking at her unscrupulously, mainly because Lin Feng was not embarrassed at all, which really annoyed her. "What's wrong with me?" Lin Feng showed an innocent expression. The girl suddenly did not know what to say. After all, she was only a 12-year-old girl. She had never encountered such a situation before, so she was at a loss. Just then, the waiter came up with 2 bowls of noodles. "Dear guests, your noodles are ready. Please have a taste." I. The girl hesitated for a few seconds before finally saying, I'll leave it for you to eat. After saying that, she left 10 copper coins on the table and quickly left. Seeing this, Lin Feng did not chase after her. He just smiled and ate the noodles. That's right, he had already guessed it. She was around 12 years old, so beautiful, and had a good figure. She was even here to eat the star Luo Empire's specialty noodles. In summary, she should be Zhu Zhuqing. Anyway, he would have a chance to meet her in the future. Thinking of her expression when he saw her at the Shrek Academy the day after tomorrow, Lin Feng ate the noodles happily. Yo, this noodles tastes pretty good as expected. It's long and wide. This time, Lin Feng laughed even more happily. With a good start today, Lin Feng was in a good mood. He also ate happily for the rest of the time. On the street, he ate everything he wanted to eat. At night, when the sky was about to turn dark, Lin Feng carried a big bag of delicious food and walked back to the Rose Hotel, humming a little tune. When he left, although Lin Feng was arrogant, he still had to share with his younger siblings when he had good food. Stepping into the hotel, Lin Feng realized that there was someone at the front desk who was booking a room. As this person's back was facing Lin Feng, he could only tell from her figure and voice that she was a young lady. Esteemed guest, all the high-class rooms have been booked. Our hotel only has normal rooms now. The waiter was in a difficult position. What's wrong with Soto City? I've already asked a few hotels. None of them have any high-class rooms. Are they targeting me? The young lady's voice was crisp and clear. It was really nice to listen to, but there was a trace of unruliness in her voice. In the waiter's ears, it was like a demon's voice. He did not dare to say anything, and only tried his best to explain. These few days, all the Soul Master Academies are recruiting students. Many foreign Soul Masters have come to Soto City. Soul Masters are all noble occupations. They stay in high-class rooms, so we really don't have any high-class rooms here. Why don't you consider a normal room? Oomph. The young lady snorted. Are you saying that I'm not fit to stay in a high-class room? As she spoke, the young lady actually emitted a faint soul power pressure on the waiter. The waiter quickly said with respect, Esteemed Soul Master, I'm not looking down on you. It's just that our hotel doesn't have any high-class rooms. I'm really sorry. The young lady seemed to only want the waiter to show her respect. After hearing his words, she immediately turned around. I don't believe that there's not a single hotel in the entire Soto City with good rooms. As she spoke, the young lady was about to walk out. Behind her, the waiter heaved a sigh of relief. This fellow had finally left. However, in the next second, the young lady's words caused the waiter's heart to jump to his throat. Hey, the one with the bag over there. What room are you staying in? As she spoke, the young lady pointed at Lin Feng. She had an arrogant look on her face, as though speaking to Lin Feng was a gift from her. Lin Feng glanced at her. She was about 12 years old, with short hair and fair skin. She was quite pretty, but it was a pity that she didn't have a brain. Shaking his head, Lin Feng ignored her and walked forward. However, the young lady didn't give up. She walked over and blocked Lin Feng's path. Kid, I'm asking you a question. Lin Feng smiled and raised his head. Oh, what's the matter? Lin Feng was a helpful person to these children who hadn't experienced the harsh beating of society. Of course, he would give them the best help. The harsh beating of society. Just like Lin Yuan, although he didn't know what happened to him after that. It should be a lot more stable. After all, Lin Feng heard from the small town that the mayor of Cree City had beaten up his son. The young lady originally wanted to talk about Lin Feng, but seeing his smile, her tone softened. Let me ask you, what room are you staying in this hotel? Purple Roland. Lin Feng answered honestly. The young lady's eyes lit up. Can you give me your room? I'll pay double. Chapter 58. Just now, the girl had learned from the waiter that Purple Roland was a high-class room in the hotel. She was just asking casually, but she didn't expect to actually get it. No way. Lin Feng shook his head calmly. Why? The girl quickly said, I know, you think the money is too little. How about this? I'll pay 5 times the price. She knew the price of Purple Roland. It was 5 gold coins a day, so 5 times the price would be 25 gold coins. It wasn't cheap at all. However, Lin Feng still shook his head calmly. No way. You think it's too little? 10 times all right. I'll pay 10 times the price for your room. The girl was angry. She didn't expect a kid like Lin Feng to be so greedy. Are you sure? I've booked this room for a few days. Lin Feng asked with interest. He didn't expect this girl to be so rich. Lin Feng had some guesses about this girl's identity, but there were too many 12-year-old boys and girls in Soto City at this time. Lin Feng couldn't be 100% sure. The reason why Zhu Zhuqing was able to guess it so quickly was that her figure was too iconic. As for Ning Rongrong, it was still a little hard to be sure. Lin Feng was only 70% sure that this girl in front of him was Ning Rongrong. In fact, Lin Feng had a lot of guesses. This unruly girl was Ning Rongrong. How many days have you booked? Ning Rongrong had sneaked out from the Seven Treasures glazed sect. She only had 300 gold coins on her. Now that Lin Feng said that he had booked for a few days, she panicked a little. Lin Feng obviously noticed this too. He knew what Ning Rongrong was worried about. After some thought, he gave a compromise. 6 days. I booked for a total of 6 days. As he spoke, Lin Feng kept observing Ning Rongrong's eyes and expression. There was no panic in her eyes. There was only a slight struggle. Her expression changed from nervousness to relaxation, and she let out a sigh of relief. From this series of expressions and eyes, Lin Feng estimated that she had around 400 gold coins on her. It couldn't be less than 300 gold coins. Otherwise, Ning Rongrong's eyes would be filled with panic because she didn't have enough gold coins on her. As for her struggle and relaxation, it meant that Ning Rongrong definitely had an extra 300 gold coins on her. But it wasn't much, which was why she had such a reaction. Of course, if Ning Rongrong had less gold coins on her, Lin Feng would use his word to test how much gold coins she had on her, and then take it all in one go. Now, of course, he could empty it. He just needed to continue guiding it. 6 days, right? That's 300 gold coins. I'll give it to you. As she spoke, Ning Rongrong took out a bag of gold coins from her soul tool. There were exactly 300 gold coins inside. Ning Rongrong passed the money to Lin Feng without any warning. Lin Feng didn't hesitate. He took the bag of gold coins and put it into his soul tool. After that, Lin Feng just stared at her quietly. He didn't say anything. He was thinking about how he could continue to take the gold coins from her. The so-called beatings of society were meaningless if they were just to cheat her of her money. He had to cheat her so that she couldn't refute him. This way, she would be even angrier when she found out. Only then would it be effective. Ning Rongrong felt a little uncomfortable as Lin Feng stared at her. Then she said, "Give me the key. Then tell me where the room is." "I can't give you the key directly." Lin Feng's words almost made Ning Rongrong explode. Her eyes were wide open, as if she wanted to eat someone. Her soul power was overflowing, as if she wanted to beat Lin Feng up. Fortunately, Lin Feng said, "It's not that I can't give it to you. It's just that you have to go through the procedures at the front desk." "If that's the case, then hurry up and do it," Ning Rongrong urged. At the same time, she heaved a sigh of relief. She thought that she had been cheated. She didn't expect that it was just the procedures that hadn't been completed. Lin Feng was such a handsome guy. How could he cheat her? But the procedures for subletting the room cost money. "You bought my room, so you have to pay for it," Lin Feng said matter-of-factly. "I spent 10 times the price to buy your room, and you still want me to pay for the handling fees?" Ning Rongrong was stunned. She was in disbelief. She came out with a total of 340 gold coins. She spent 300 to buy the room, and now she only had 40 gold coins left. She was a little panicked. "This is your loss, so of course you have to pay for it." Okay. I'll pay. How much is it?" Ning Rongrong was anxious. She just wanted to move into the room as soon as possible. She had already spent 300 gold coins, so why would she care about the handling fees? The most important thing right now was to get things done. Hearing this, Lin Feng's lips curled up. He easily grasped Ning Rongrong's thoughts. 50 gold coins. 50 gold coins. Why don't you go rob a bank? Ning Rongrong's voice was a pitch higher, attracting the attention of the receptionist at the front desk. When the two of them were talking, he saw it. But both of them were soul cultivators, so he didn't even dare to breathe loudly. He could only hide and tremble. Don't be so angry. I don't want that much money either. Lin Feng's voice was very gentle. You said you'd pay 10 times the price. The handling fee was originally 5 gold coins, so I'll charge you 10 times. 50 gold coins isn't a problem. Although he said this, Lin Feng knew that Ning Rongrong didn't have 50 gold coins on her. After thinking for a moment, he continued, How about this? I won't charge you 10 times the handling fee. Just 40 gold coins will do. Impossible. Ning Rongrong's face was resolute. Although she said it was impossible, Lin Feng could tell that Ning Rongrong had 40 gold coins on her, but she didn't want to take it out. After thinking for a moment, Lin Feng said, What's wrong? You're a soul cultivator, and you can't even take out 40 gold coins? When he said this, Ning Rongrong couldn't take it anymore. She angrily said, How can I not take out 40 gold coins? Who are you looking down on? As she said this, she raised her hand and a small bag appeared in her hand. Here's 40 gold coins for you. Take this and go through the procedures. Give me the key. Ning Rongrong was anxious. She directly stuffed the money into Lin Feng's hands and pulled him to the front desk. Lin Feng smiled at this. Okay, don't be anxious. We'll go through the procedures now. Soon, Lin Feng was dragged to the front desk by an anxious Ning Rongrong. This guy transferred his room to me. Hurry up and go through the procedures for him. Hearing this, the attendant confirmed with Lin Feng. Sir, are you sure you want it? Before he could finish, Ning Rongrong continued to urge, Hurry up. Lin Feng also smiled and said, That's right, I'll transfer it. Okay. The attendant said, Sir, because your Violet Roland suite is a high-class suite, you'll have to pay a handling fee of 5 gold coins and hand over the room key. Lin Feng waved his hand and handed the 5 gold coins and the key to the attendant. Chapter 59. Seeing this, Ning Rongrong's heart still ached for the gold coins, but on the other hand, she was still very happy. After all, this kid didn't lie. The service fee was indeed 5 gold coins. Although she had spent 10 times the price, she still spent 10 gold coins less in the end. Inexplicably, she felt that she had made a small profit. However, in the next second, the attendant's words caused Ning Rongrong to almost collapse. Sir, your room has 2 days left. The sublet has been successfully completed. As he spoke, the attendant handed the key and the sublet certificate to the stunned Ning Rongrong. The latter was stunned in place and didn't even take the key. Sir, the attendant was slightly puzzled. However, in the next second, Ning Rongrong directly went berserk. Her 2 yellow 100-year soul rings instantly appeared and lit up at the same time. Her strength and speed attributes were added to her body. She directly rushed forward and grabbed Lin Feng's sleeve with her left hand. Her right hand formed a fist and punched towards Lin Feng's face. As she attacked, she shouted, You bastard, you actually dare to cheat me of my gold coins. Facing this attack, Lin Feng easily dodged and then said indifferently, What's the rush? Come, renew this room for me. Extend it to 6 days. As he spoke, Lin Feng threw 20 gold coins to the attendant. The attendant grabbed the gold coins and was stunned. He didn't know whether to move or not and was very uncomfortable. Seeing this, Lin Feng was about to say something when he suddenly frowned and said, Wait. After being yelled at, Ning Rongrong really stopped her attack. She was a complete, rash person. She had no experience in dealing with people and no experience in actual combat. From head to toe, other than her good points of being unruly, she had nothing else. What are you waiting for? If you don't pay me back today, I'll smash your head. Ning Rongrong said fiercely, Why are you angry? I'm just teasing you. Of course, I'll give you the money and the room. Lin Feng acted out of character and took out 420 gold coins from his bosom. Then he placed it in Ning Rongrong's hand along with the 20 gold coins and the key from the waiter. This scene left Ning Rongrong dumbfounded. She had never seen something like this in the sect, so she didn't know what to do. She even withdrew her soul rings. You're a great soul cultivator. Why would I cheat you of your money? It was just a joke. Lin Feng casually found an excuse, but his brows were still furrowed. Just now, when Ning Rongrong was angry, Lin Feng suddenly felt two soul power undulations lock onto him, the kind that could be considered quite strong. Lin Feng estimated that there should be two soul emperors. If that was the case, then the girl in front of him was Ning Rongrong. Lin Feng wasn't afraid of the two soul emperors. He didn't even put them in his eyes. However, the seven treasures glazed sect behind them was still very troublesome. If he was targeted by them, he wouldn't even be able to stay in the Shrek Academy anymore. Therefore, Lin Feng immediately changed his mind about letting Ning Rongrong experience society's vicious beating and return the money to her. Is this a joke? With the money in her hands, Ning Rongrong's anger had mostly dissipated. However, this didn't mean that she was going to let Lin Feng off. This guy actually dared to play with her like this. If she didn't get back at him, she wouldn't feel at ease. You actually dare to play with me like this. You must pay the price. Price? What price? I already gave you my room. I don't have a place to stay tonight. What else do you want? At this time, although the two Soul Emperors were still paying attention to Lin Feng's side, their hostility had decreased by a lot. As for Ning Rongrong's side, she originally wanted to ask Lin Feng to compensate her with some gold coins. However, listening to his words, he didn't have a place to stay tonight. In addition, she got his room for free. For a moment, she felt that Lin Feng was quite pitiful. After thinking about it, Ning Rongrong didn't continue to make things difficult for him. Where's the room? Take me there. It's upstairs. Lin Feng recovered his previous gentle and elegant manner. With a smile on his face, he led the way in front, as if the previous conflict had never happened. However, in his heart, he was cursing endlessly. Ning Rongrong was really a little girl who hadn't seen the world. She believed whatever he said. If it wasn't for the two Soul Emperors watching outside, Lin Feng would have taken away the money. You be crying. When Lin Feng brought Ning Rongrong to her room, the two Soul Emperor bodyguards were secretly discussing. That brat discovered us? Are you joking? That guy's at most 15 years old. How did he discover us? I think he really just wants to play with the young miss. The two of them were ordered by the sect master to protect Ning Rongrong. But protecting her wasn't to constantly monitor Ning Rongrong. They were only to ensure that there weren't any soul masters nearby that could threaten Ning Rongrong. After investigating just now, the strongest person in this hotel was only a soul elder. Perhaps there was a certain amount of danger, but it was impossible for them to silently kill Ning Rongrong. Therefore, they only needed to pay attention to Ning Rongrong when something happened. Just now, Ning Rongrong's soul power exploded, so they immediately saw the situation in the field and saw what happened afterwards. But then again, the young miss was a lawless existence in the sect. They didn't expect that once she came out, her anger would dissipate so easily. This brat's mouth was quite capable. On Lin Feng's side, after sending Ning Rongrong to her room, he quickly went to Tang San's room. Xiao San, go sleep with Xiao Wu. I'll take this room. Tang San was dumbfounded. Then, he reacted and said, This isn't good. The two of us can sleep together. I'm not going to sleep with you. Go sleep with Xiao Wu. You've slept with her for 6 years. What's there to be shy about? After saying that, without waiting for Tang San's agreement, Lin Feng directly kicked him out of the room. After the door closed for a second, Lin Feng seemed to have thought of something. He opened the door again and threw out a bag. This is for you and Xiao Wu. It's all delicious. You can have supper. After saying that, Lin Feng closed the door and locked it. Outside the door, Tang San was still dumbfounded. He didn't understand it all. Lin Feng had his own room. Why did he want to snatch his room and even want him to sleep with Xiao Wu? But after thinking about it carefully, sleeping with Xiao Wu made him a little excited. At night, Lin Feng thought that the two Soul Emperors would come to find trouble with him. He was prepared to transform into Thanos and knock them out. He didn't expect that the other party didn't make a move at all. The next day, Lin Feng didn't go to provoke Ning Rongrong. That guy was stupid and had a one-track mind. It was so troublesome. Taking advantage of waking up early, Lin Feng first went to see Tang San and Xiao Wu. The two of them had cultivated for the whole day yesterday and were currently in excellent condition. Under Lin Feng's suggestion, they didn't continue to stay there and went out for a walk. Of course, Lin Feng didn't follow them. He still hadn't finished walking around the food street in the city center. Today was the perfect day to continue walking. Just like that, as time passed, it was finally time to register for Shrek Academy. Chapter 60. This morning, Lin Feng originally thought that Ning Rongrong would wake up very late like yesterday. Who knew that she actually woke up at around the same time as Lin Feng? Was this still the image of a young miss in his mind? Where did the unruliness from last night go? Shouldn't all young misses be more willful? But speaking of which, when Ning Rongrong first entered the Shrek Academy in the original novel, she pretended to be quite gentle. Later on, she slowly revealed her unruliness and willfulness. It had to be said that this beautiful woman was very scheming. However, at this time, in order to avoid this troublesome fellow, Lin Feng dragged Tang San and Xiao Wu to eat breakfast for nearly an hour before leaving the hotel and heading towards the south gate. This strange action made Tang San puzzled for a while, but due to Feng Ji's prestige, he did not ask much. The master said that once they left the south gate of Soto City and walked along the official road, they would be able to see the Shrek Academy. After the three of them finished their breakfast, they directly left the south gate. The city was bustling with activity. Once they left the city gate, they saw an endless grassland. It was a completely different world. A gentle breeze blew, and it was very comfortable. After walking a short distance towards the south, they could see golden rice fields on both sides. These rice fields were about to mature and would probably be harvested in a few days. There were even some farmers who were harvesting in some of the fields. This scene made Lin Feng recall the scene when he was young, playing crazily with his grandfather in the rice fields. Now that he thought about it, he really missed it. Shrek Academy. Other than its name and the fact that it was in the south of Soto City, the three of them did not know anything else. There were no landmarks, so the three of them had a hard time finding it. Not long after, Xiao Wu said that her legs were weak and asked Tang San to carry her on his back. Just like that, the three of them spent nearly an hour before they found the location of Shrek Academy. This was a small village with about 100 families. From afar, it looked like an ordinary village. Only when they got closer did they see the shabby signboard of Shrek Academy at the entrance of the village. If it weren't for the fact that there was a line of people queuing up to register, Tang San and Xiao Wu would have thought that this school was fake. No way, it's so shabby. Xiao Wu jumped down from Tang San's back, her face full of disbelief. It had to be known that no matter which city one was in, a Soul Master Academy would always be one of the best buildings in the area. However, the Soul Master Academy in front of him completely violated this principle. The school recommended by the master is really poor. Although Lin Feng was mentally prepared, he didn't expect this place to be so shabby. The book described how poor the Shrek Academy was, but that was just an abstract description. It wasn't as shocking as the actual scene. At a glance, the houses in the village gave people the feeling of a remote village with a low income. Furthermore, the villagers were dressed too plainly. It could be said that the Holy Soul Village was richer than this place. From this, it could be seen how poor this place was. I didn't expect it to be like this either. However, the teacher said that although this Shrek Academy is only an intermediate Soul Master Academy, the things it teaches can't even be compared to an advanced Soul Master Academy. Tang San also didn't expect this scene, but at this moment, he still chose to believe in the Master. Let's go and take a look first. The registration area is in front of us. The guy called Dai Mubai seems to be there too. As they spoke, Lin Feng led the two of them to the registration area. The registration area was a table placed at the entrance of the village. Behind the table sat an old man in his 60s, and Dai Mubai stood next to the old man. When Lin Feng's group of three arrived nearby, Dai Mubai nodded at them from afar, which could be considered greeting. After approaching, Lin Feng could hear the discussions of the people in the queue. Some didn't believe in the Shrek Academy, some felt that it was just a test, and some were full of confidence in their conversations. There were all kinds of people. In the middle, Lin Feng even saw Ning Rongrong, who was at the front of the line. It seemed that although the admission rate for the Shrek Academy was low, there were still many people who came to register. Otherwise, Ning Rongrong would have been in long ago. Fortunately, the three of them came late and were at the back of the line. Ning Rongrong didn't see Lin Feng. Just like this, the three of them looked at the scenery around them while waiting silently. At this moment, suddenly, there was an uproar in front of them. You people in the queue, before coming, you'd better inquire about our Shrek Academy. It's true that you can obtain a viscount after graduating from our academy, but the recruitment requirements are very strict. If you rush here without any information, you'll only be wasting the registration fee. The old man stood up and looked at the long line behind him with an impatient expression. Shrek, it means monster. Therefore, the people our academy accepts are all monsters. Our academy's requirements are very simple. You must be under the age of 13. Rank 21 soul power. If you don't meet these two requirements, you can leave. Don't waste your time and money. After the old man finished speaking, as if to show the authority in his words, his body shook and 6 soul rings instantly lit up under his feet. White, yellow, purple, black. A soul emperor-ranked powerhouse. These words were full of deterrence. The people who were still in the queue suddenly decreased by more than half, saving Lin Feng's group a lot of time in the queue. Not long after, Lin Feng saw Ning Rongrong pass the first round of tests and enter. At this moment, Lin Feng, who was looking at the scenery, discovered that at the back of the line, there was an extremely voluptuous girl walking over. She was dressed in black and had a cold face. Lin Feng immediately recognized her as Zhu Zhuqing. After looking at the line of dozens of people, the latter silently stood at the back and waited. Because there were many people behind Lin Feng's group, Zhu Zhuqing didn't notice them. Just like this, not long after, it was Lin Feng's group's turn. The registration fee was 10 gold coins per person. Lin Feng took out 30 gold coins and placed them in the special box on the table. The old man touched Tang San and Xiao Wu's bones and confirmed their age. Release your martial souls and soul rings. The two of them looked at each other and released their martial souls, as well as their 200-year yellow soul rings. Seeing Tang San's blue-silver grass, the old man was stunned for a moment. Then he smiled and said, I really didn't expect that blue-silver grass could be cultivated so quickly. Also, the two of you have pretty good physiques. You must have trained a lot, right? Tang San smiled and said, Teacher, are we considered monsters? Of course. The old man nodded in satisfaction. Then, he waved at Dai Mubai, who was not far away. Mubai, bring the two of them in. Every student who passed the first test would be brought to the second test by Dai Mubai. They had been recruiting students for more than an hour, and Dai Mubai had only brought in a dozen or so people. Moreover, these 7 or 8 people only had the qualifications to become students. If they wanted to be admitted, they still had to pass 4 tests in a row. P.S. Thank you for the 500 reward from 3000 Galaxy Drunk. Chapter 61. Tang San and Xiao Wu walked towards Dai Mubai, but the three of them tactfully didn't leave because Lin Feng hadn't taken the test yet. Tang San and Xiao Wu didn't leave because they knew that Lin Feng would definitely pass and were waiting for them to leave together. On the other hand, Dai Mubai was purely curious. He was curious about Lin Feng's strength as a big brother and his age. He looked around 15 years old, yet he still came to apply for the academy. In fact, Tang San and Xiao were also very curious about Lin Feng's second and third soul rings that had never been revealed. That's right, all these years, other than the first soul ring that Lin Feng had revealed, the ranks of his other soul rings were a mystery. The three of them didn't leave and looked at Lin Feng. The old man was also stunned. Lin Feng's appearance was on the older side, probably around 15 years old. He saw the 30 gold coins just now, but he only thought that Lin Feng was a guy who didn't want to give up. But now, it seemed that something was wrong. The old man was slightly surprised and asked, You also came to apply for the academy? You don't seem to meet the age requirement. Tang San quickly explained, Fenggu is only 1 or 2 months older than me, but he looks older. He graduated at the same time as me and Xiao Wu. Is that so? The old man's interest was piqued, and he said, Put your hand here. Lin Feng stretched out his hand, but the old man frowned after touching it a few times. When he touched Tang San's hand bones just now, that guy seemed to have cultivated some special soul skill. His hand bones were so soft that he couldn't tell his age. Only when he touched his leg bones did he know his age. Lin Feng's was even more exaggerated. His bones couldn't be touched at all. This didn't mean that Lin Feng's bones were soft, but his muscles were too hard and full of explosive power. The old man actually couldn't touch his bones. This guy's body seemed to be cast from steel. If his arms were like this, then there was no need to touch his legs. Since he couldn't touch anything, the old man obviously wouldn't say it out loud. That would be too embarrassing. So after thinking about it, he directly said, "Show your martial soul first." Anyway, the guy called Tang San just now said that Lin Feng graduated at the same time as them, so they should be around the same age. Lin Feng didn't hesitate. He opened his right hand, and a mottled flower appeared in his palm. Martial soul. I don't think I've seen it before. The old man was slightly surprised. Not only him, but Dai Mubai and the other students and parents in the queue were also very curious. I call it the immeasurable flower. It has the ability to heal injuries, so I'm an auxiliary-type soul master. As soon as Lin Feng finished speaking, the eyes of the people around him lit up. This was a soul master, a healing-type soul master, a healing-type soul master, a healer's, a healing-type soul master. A healing-type soul master was the dream teammate of many soul masters. This was equivalent to giving you an extra life. Who wouldn't like it? But Dai Mubai's eyes were slightly strange. He had experienced the power of Tang San's soul master before. This Lin Feng wouldn't be the same, right? If so, it would be very interesting. Just as he was thinking, the old man had already said, "Soul master, not bad. Show your soul rings. As long as you can show 2 soul rings, no matter what level they are, you'll pass the first round." 2, right? Okay. Lin Feng nodded. Lin Feng didn't reveal his soul rings in the past few years for 2 reasons. First, if it was exposed, the soul ring's age would be fixed. If he used the system to change it again, and someone discovered the change in age, it would definitely be a big deal. That was something only gods could do. If it was spread out, Bibi Dong would probably personally invite Lin Feng to the Pope's palace for tea. The second reason was relatively simple. Lin Feng's strength was still relatively weak at that time. If the soul ring's age was too high, it was inevitable that it would attract attention. Although this possibility was very low, Lin Feng still had to be on guard, so he had always been steady. But now, Lin Feng already had the strength to protect himself. It didn't matter if he revealed a few soul rings or something. While Lin Feng was thinking about this, the old man on the side muttered in his heart, "What? Listening to you, 2 soul rings aren't enough? Do you think you can show me 3 of them?" However, in the next second, his eyes widened. It wasn't that Lin Feng showed 3 soul rings. He had 2 soul rings, but these 2 soul rings weren't the genius-level double yellow chain, but the shocking yellow and black. Black represented a 10,000-year soul ring. This guy's second soul ring was actually a 10,000-year soul ring. How is this possible? The moment Lin Feng's soul ring lit up, everyone around, including Tang San and Xiao Wu, opened their mouths wide. Even Zhu Zhuqing, who was not far behind, opened his mouth wide. Someone actually obtained a 10,000-year soul ring. However, because of her line of sight, she didn't know that this person was Lin Feng. Unlike the others who were surprised, Tang San had a deeper understanding of this. According to the Master's Martial Soul's 10 core competencies, there was a limit to the number of years a Soul Master could obtain each soul ring. The first soul ring was more than 400 years, and the second should be more than 700 years. However, Lin Feng easily broke this rule, and he broke it completely. It wasn't a 1,000-year soul ring, but a 10,000-year soul ring. No wonder Feng Ji's physical fitness was so terrifying. It turned out that it was the additional strength brought by the 10,000-year soul ring. At this moment, most of the doubts in Tang San's heart could be explained. Did I pass? While the old man was in a daze, Lin Feng asked with a smile. You passed. The old man had a complicated expression. You can't be called a monster anymore. You should be called a monster among monsters. I've never seen a soul master like you. His second soul ring was a 10,000-year soul ring. There was no one else like him. Move by. Bring them to the next round. It seems like the Shrek Academy will be able to recruit a few good seedlings this year. Lin Feng smiled and went to Tang San's side. At this moment, Dai Mubai swallowed his saliva. Really, really amazing. I've never seen a 10,000-year soul ring before. It's not just you. We've never seen one either. Fengge really hit it well. Tang San and Xiao Wu echoed. However, they saw deeper. The two of them were soul elders. If it was Fengge, his third soul ring would probably be a 10,000-year soul ring. Regarding this, Lin Feng only smiled and didn't say anything. Fortunately, he only revealed 2 soul rings. Otherwise, if he revealed 3 or 4, wouldn't these people be stupefied? Lin Feng's silence let Dai Mubai know that he didn't want to discuss the 10,000-year soul ring too much. Thus, Dai Mubai quickly said, I'll bring you to the next round. The village isn't big. The second round isn't far ahead. With that, Dai Mubai led the 3 into the village. At the village entrance, after Lin Feng left, the students and parents were still discussing the 10,000-year soul ring. Chapter 62. The village was very small, and the second checkpoint was located in a small plaza not far from the village entrance. After walking for a short distance, Dai Mubai pointed to the front and said, the second checkpoint is right in front. I won't send you off. You guys can go there yourselves. I just saw an acquaintance at the entrance. I have to go see her. Acquaintance? You can't be thinking of harming that girl. I just saw you looking at her. Xiao Wu was more observant. When they were standing together just now, she noticed that Dai Mubai's gaze kept drifting to the black-clothed girl behind them. Dai Mubai frowned and said, What do you know? What kind of bad ideas are you having? Am I Dai Mubai, that kind of person? It's just that I realized that the girl's aura is very similar to mine. It's not the similar kind. It's mainly because it complements my martial soul. If the two of us join hands, we might be able to use an extremely powerful martial soul fusion technique. Tang San and Xiao Wu had not only heard of the term martial soul fusion technique from the Grandmaster, but also from Lin Feng, so they weren't unfamiliar with it. Hearing Dai Mubai's words now, they felt that it was a novelty. I won't talk to you guys anymore. You guys can go there yourselves. I'll be back soon. With that, Dai Mubai hurried back to the village entrance. Not long after Dai Mubai left, Oscar ran out with his sausage cart, as if it was the right time. His soft voice sounded in the vicinity of the second checkpoint. Selling sausages, selling roasted sausages. Fragrant and crispy, delicious sausages. Not only are they delicious, they're also easy to use. They're cheap, and there's plenty of them. Students passing by, please don't miss out. Hearing this, Xiao Wu's eyes lit up. She turned to look at the spendthrift Lin Feng. Fengge, I want to eat roasted sausages. Eat the big ones. Are 2 enough? Enough. Thank you, Fengge. Fengge is the best. After agreeing with Xiao Wu, Lin Feng skillfully commanded Tang San, Xiao San, go, buy a dozen or so sausages and bring them over. If there's any seasoning, give me some of everything. Tang San was slightly confused. Why is Xiao Wu thanking you for everything, but I'm the one running the errands in the end? Although he cursed in his heart, Tang San still ran over and bought 10 sausages. Tang San was also very curious about the taste of the sausages after hearing how delicious they were. Tang San spent some time because he bought a lot of them and needed to dip them in seasoning. When he came back with the sausages, Lin Feng was already waiting anxiously. This was food created by a food-type martial soul. Lin Feng had never eaten it before, so he was very curious about the taste of the sausages. However, just as the 3 of them were about to eat, Dai Mubai suddenly rushed over from afar and shouted, Don't. These sausages can't be eaten. After saying this, Dai Mubai also walked over. He said to Oscar in a deep voice, Xiao Ao, how many times have I told you? Don't sell sausages in school. Do you want people to spit them all out? Oscar walked over with a bitter smile. Boss Dai, you know my sausages are really nothing. It's not like they can't be eaten. In fact, they're very delicious. Is this uncle also a student of the academy? Tang San felt a little incredulous. What did Dai Mubai just call him? Xiaoao, this bearded uncle was also a student? Ahem, this guy's called Oscar. He's only 2 years older than you. Dai Mubai shook his head and said, Xiao Ao's martial soul is a little special. It's an extremely rare food type, martial soul. Because of his martial soul, his hair is more exuberant, so he looks like an uncle. I see. Then Tang Sin curiously asked, Then, is there anything wrong with the sausages? I think it's quite delicious. He asked this mainly because Tang Sin didn't find any poison or other problems on the sausages, so he was more curious. It really can't be eaten. Dai Mubai looked at Oscar and said, Xiao Ao, give them a new sausages to see. Boss Dai, this isn't appropriate. It's not good for the reputation. Oscar looked embarrassed. The main reason was that Xiao Wu was here, and in the direction of the village, there was also a girl in black who looked quite beautiful. She should have just passed the first round. In this case, if Oscar said that soul curse, it would be difficult to talk to these two girls in the future. Don't talk nonsense. They are all super monsters. They will definitely be students of our academy in the future. You can't hide it. Dai Mubai clenched his fist. Don't make me do it myself. Forced by Dai Mubai's strength, Oscar had no choice but to stretch out his right hand and said slightly wretchedly, I have a big sausage. In the next second, as Oscar's soul ring lit up, a sausage appeared in his hand. The people around were all stunned except for Lin Feng. Not to mention whether the sausage could be eaten or not. Just this sentence was too ambiguous and had a particularly bad influence. Xiao Wu's face instantly turned red, and she subconsciously threw the sausage on the ground. Even Zhu Zhuqing, who had just walked over from behind the crowd, was stunned for a moment, and a faint disgust appeared on his face. Feeling the disdain in everyone's eyes, Oscar quickly explained, I didn't want to call it that. Soul skills are like this. My soul power is currently low, so I have to use it together with this soul curse. Otherwise, I won't be able to make this sausage. This sausage is really edible. You should keep it for yourself. Tang San felt that it was too strange and wanted to put the sausage back into Oscar's cart. However, as soon as he reached out his hand, Lin Feng snatched the sausage from his hand. Why waste it? I think this sausage is quite delicious. I have never eaten a delicacy made by a food type martial soul. As he spoke, Lin Feng took a big sausage in his mouth. They were spicy, sweet, cumin, and so on. He chewed all kinds of sausages in his mouth. The taste was really good. Is it really delicious? Oscar was touched and had a trace of expectation. In the past, only those who didn't know the slogan dared to eat Oscar's sausage. Those who knew the slogan either didn't eat it once, or they would spit it out the first time they ate it. However, it was the first time Oscar met someone like Lin Feng who knew the slogan and still ate it himself. The taste is not bad. It's really fragrant. As if he had noticed the surprised gazes of the surrounding people, Lin Feng said indifferently, What's there to be afraid of? Isn't it just a slogan? You have to know that delicacies are not sinful. Also, the essence of a martial soul is energy. Have you all forgotten? It had to be said that the food made by a martial soul was very delicious. At least, it was much better than the hot dogs in his previous life. Amazing, Dai Mubai said with emotion. Lin Feng was the first person he had seen who could eat Oscar's sausage in one bite without changing his expression. Moreover, he ate nearly 10 sausages in a row. After eating, he still looked like he wanted more. Chapter 63. Is it really that good? Tang Sin was suddenly a little bewildered. He knew that Feng Ge was very picky about his food. He was also a chef himself, and the dishes made by the best restaurants in Notting City were not as good as Feng Ge's. For Feng Ge to praise it as fragrant, it could only mean that the roasted sausages were really delicious. Xiao Wu had the same thought as Tang San, but she said to herself in her heart, No matter how delicious it is, I won't eat this sausages even if you beat me to death. Zhu Zhuqing also noticed Lin Feng's face at this time. Her first reaction was surprise. How could it be him? Then, her eyes flickered a few times, and her heart was full of complicated feelings. On one hand, she knew that Lin Feng was the student with the 10,000-year soul ring. On the other hand, she knew about the incident at the Heaven's Noodle House the day before, as well as the fact that he was eating the sausages without batting an eyelid. With these three things added together, Lin Feng gave Zhu Zhuqing a strange feeling. She couldn't see through him at all. At this time, Oscar was extremely touched. What a good sentence. Delicacies are not sinful. Junior, if you buy my roasted sausages in the future, I'll give you a 50% discount. Cough, cough. Forget it. Lin Feng shook his head. Eating it once or twice is enough. No matter how good something is, it won't taste good anymore after eating it too many times. After saying that, Lin Feng tilted his head and glanced at Zhu Zhuqing, but he didn't say anything. He just smiled as if it was the first time they had met. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Oscar was slightly disappointed and wanted to say something. But at this time, Dai Mubai opened his mouth. Okay, don't worry about this first. I'll take you directly to the last test. After passing the test, you can enter our academy. Directly to the last test? Don't we need to care about the ones in front? Tang Sin pointed to the front, where there were still a few candidates in line. Don't worry, I didn't cheat. You deserve it. With that, Dai Mubai led the group to the teacher in charge of the second test. Dai Mubai whispered a few words into the teacher's ear and pointed at Lin Feng and the other two. Soon, the teacher smiled and said, That's not a problem. Mubai, take the three of them to the fourth test. As long as they pass, they will be accepted. Hearing this, other than Lin Feng, the others were confused, especially the people in the queue. A boy looked dissatisfied. Teacher, why can they directly go to the fourth test, but we have to go through the test one by one? It's not fair. Fair. The teacher chuckled. Actually, this is very fair. If your soul power can also reach rank 25, then you can also follow them to the fourth stage. If not, then they'd better line up properly. If you perform well in the first few rounds, there's still a chance for you to be accepted. The average age of a person who graduated from an elementary Soul Master Academy was around 12 years old. Those who could reach rank 21 at this age were true geniuses. It was even possible for them to become soul sages in the future. As for rank 25, most people could only reach rank 25 when they graduated from an advanced Soul Master Academy. The boy was shocked by this condition, but he still looked at Lin Feng and the others with suspicion. I don't believe it. I've never heard of anyone who could reach rank 25 at the age of 12. This boy's performance was normal, but at the same time, it was also irrational. This was because this matter was completely beyond his scope of understanding. He couldn't explain it, so he directly denied it. It was just like studying in his previous life. You spent 6 years to finish elementary school, 3 years to finish middle school, and 9 years of compulsory education was clear. However, there were some geniuses who skipped a few grades in a year. You also studied for 9 years, but you had just graduated from middle school, while others had already graduated with a doctorate. If it wasn't for the news, you might not have known about this in your entire life. Using a phrase on the internet, it was 9 years together. How could you be outstanding? You don't believe it? Dai Mubai didn't beat around the bush. He directly grabbed the crystal ball used to test one's soul power in the second round and said, Just because you can't do it doesn't mean others can't. Tang-san, come over here and inject your soul power into this crystal ball. Dai Mubai didn't call Xiao Wu or Lin Feng. One had a poisonous mouth, and the other didn't seem to be very familiar with him. Furthermore, he seemed to be very strong, so he could only call Tang-san. The soul power testing crystal was something Lin Feng and the others weren't unfamiliar with. They had seen it when their martial souls were awakened, and the martial soul hall also had it. At this moment, the crystal ball in Dai Mubai's hand was a rank 3 crystal ball. It could test one's soul power below rank 30. If one's soul power exceeded rank 30, it would explode. Thinking of this, Tang San and Xiao Wu both turned to look at Lin Feng with inquiring expressions. The strength and size of one's soul power could actually be controlled. However, it required a long period of practice or one's own strength to directly control their soul power. Of course, Lin Feng could do it. However, Tang San and Xiao Wu had spent most of their time cultivating. How could they have the energy to learn the fine details of soul power control? Therefore, they were in a dilemma. If they touched the crystal ball, they might directly burst it. In that case, their strength as soul elders would be exposed. At this moment, a short-haired girl in a white dress suddenly ran out from the queue. Her appearance was very delicate. If it wasn't Ning Rongrong, who else could it be? She attracted everyone's attention as soon as she came out. However, Ning Rongrong stared closely at Lin Feng. She took a few steps in front of him and was slightly surprised. "Aren't you an ordinary person? Why are you here?" Before Lin Feng could answer, Ning Rongrong nodded, as if she knew something. "I know," she snorted. "Speak. Did you already guess that I wanted to apply for the Shrek Academy? So you deliberately played with me the day before yesterday? Then you wanted to attract my attention?" The night before yesterday, Ning Rongrong had realized that Lin Feng simply wanted to cheat her of her money. At that time, she had wanted to grab Lin Feng and beat him up. However, she hadn't seen him after that, so she gradually forgot about it. She didn't think that she would meet him at the Shrek Academy. However, Lin Feng looked to be around 15 years old. How could he be accepted? Although she was puzzled, Ning Rongrong knew that Lin Feng had to be at least a soul cultivator to be able to enter the second examination. It was because of this that Ning Rongrong didn't immediately rush up to him and beat him up. After thinking about it carefully, Ning Rongrong's brain came to the conclusion that Lin Feng was deliberately trying to attract her attention. Attract attention? What the hell? At this moment, Lin Feng's face was filled with question marks. He suddenly realized that Ning Rongrong wasn't just unruly and brainless. She was also extremely king narcissistic. TSK. This kind of woman is really scary. I'll have to stay away from her in the future. Fengge, who is she? Xiao Wu leaned over with a gossipy expression. I don't know her. I don't know what she's talking about. It feels like she's an idiot. Lin Feng had an innocent expression. His eyes were filled with confusion, as if he really didn't know Ning Rongrong. Hearing this, the smile on Ning Rongrong's face instantly disappeared. Chapter 65. You bastard. You dare to play with me again? I'll teach you a lesson today. He actually dared to say that he didn't know her. Ning Rongrong felt as if she had returned to the night before. It was still the same familiar smell, the same familiar formula. Just a simple sentence like that was enough to make her explode in anger. As she spoke, she flashed her soul ring, and the 7 treasures glazed pagoda flashed. With a boost, she was about to beat up Lin Feng. However, as soon as she got close, Xiao Wu nimbly dodged and caught Ning Rongrong in a reverse grip. Fengge, how should we deal with this? Xiao Wu raised her head and asked with a relaxed expression. This series of actions happened extremely quickly. The group of students in the queue didn't see anything clearly. They only felt that Xiao Wu was very powerful to be able to easily suppress a soul grandmaster like Ning Rongrong. The teachers in the second round, as well as Dai Mubai and Tang San, saw more. They saw Ning Rongrong's 7 treasures glazed pagoda flash. A martial soul like the 7 treasures glazed pagoda was passed down from generation to generation. In the entire continent, only the direct disciples of the 7 treasures glazed sect could possess it. The Grandmaster's evaluation of the 7 treasures glazed pagoda was simple. In the entire continent, it was the strongest support type martial soul, the best companion for all combat type soul masters. Among the 6 symbols of the martial spirit hall, one of them was the 7 treasures glazed pagoda. From this, one could see how famous the martial spirit hall was in the martial spirit world. Everyone was shocked, including Ning Rongrong. Although she was only a support type soul master, she often trained her body when she was in the martial spirit hall. With a boost from the 7 treasures glazed pagoda, her physical fitness was not inferior to the average soul battle master. But now, she was actually suppressed by an unknown little girl in one move. That powerful force pressed down on her arm, like a vice, making her unable to move at all. Let go of me, Ning Rongrong shouted. However, Xiao Wu remained unmoved. She only looked at Lin Feng. Seeing this, Lin Feng hurriedly said, Xiao Wu, how can you treat your classmate like this? Don't you know that students should help each other? Hurry up and release her. Oh, Xiao Wu playfully stuck out her tongue and immediately let go of Ning Rongrong. Then he asked, "Are you okay?" "Umph." Ning Rongrong coldly snorted as she rubbed her arm. She no longer yelled about hitting Lin Feng. She was not stupid. Xiao Wu could easily suppress her without even releasing her martial soul. She must be very strong. Now that she had sneaked out, it was better not to cause any trouble. She would just remember it in her heart and wait for an opportunity to take revenge in the future. Don't worry about her. Come and test your soul power. After shouting at Xiao Wu, Lin Feng directly grabbed the crystal ball from Dai Mubai's hand. Raising his hand, Lin Feng transferred a trace of his soul power into the crystal ball. In the next second, the crystal ball shone brightly like a diamond. This was a sign that he was about to reach rank 30. At this moment, the boy who had doubted everyone earlier had his mouth wide open. He was stunned. Everyone was also shocked by this scene. Even Ning Rongrong's identity as a member of the Seven Treasures Glazed sect didn't have time to ask. Ning Rongrong's eyes were also filled with shock. At this moment, she finally understood that those who could pass the first round were definitely not older than 13 years old. Based on the current situation of the crystal ball, it seemed that they were all very young. Based on the crystal ball's current state, Lin Feng's soul power should be around rank 29, extremely close to rank 30. This talent had already surpassed her. This made her feel that it was very unreal. She, Ning Rongrong, was the #1 genius of the Seven Treasures Glazed sect. Her father had once said that she was the only genius in hundreds of years who had the chance to turn the Seven Treasures Glazed Pagoda into the 8 Treasures Glazed Pagoda. But now, she couldn't even compare to a random brat who had randomly appeared. Even Xiao Wu didn't give her such a strong shock. After all, Ning Rongrong was only rank 26 and was also an auxiliary-type soul master. Her physique couldn't compare to other soul masters. If Xiao Wu had a beast soul, even a rank 21 soul master would be able to defeat her. So in Ning Rongrong's opinion, Xiao Wu should be rank 25. But in the next second, she was slapped in the face. Because under Lin Feng's instructions, Xiao Wu and Tang San transferred their soul power into the crystal ball one after another. Their soul force was the same as Lin Feng's. They were both at rank 29. How was this possible? How could all three of them be rank 29 soul grandmasters? Ning Rongrong felt that her view of the world was collapsing. Dai Mubai was also stunned. He thought that Lin Feng might also be rank 29, but he never thought that Xiao Wu, who had a venomous mouth, would also be rank 29. The teacher in charge of the test was also slightly stunned. It was his first time encountering 3 rank 29 monsters in one go, even if it was him after so many years of recruitment. At the side, the boy who had been suspicious at the beginning was so shocked that he fell to the ground. This was really too inconceivable. While everyone was still in shock, Tang San came to Lin Feng's side and whispered, "Feng Ge, how did you do it?" Just now, Lin Feng had asked him and Xiao Wu to transfer their soul power. Out of their trust in Lin Feng, they didn't think much and directly transferred their soul power. It was reasonable to say that this crystal ball should have exploded, but it didn't at this time. It was definitely because of Feng Ge. "I helped you guys transfer it." Lin Feng chuckled. In fact, the principle was very simple. The crystal ball was grabbed by Lin Feng, and when the two of them were transferring their soul power, Lin Feng directly intercepted their soul power and transferred it in himself. So now, the 3 of them were rank 29 soul grandmasters. Good, good, good. The teacher in charge of the second test said good 3 times in a row. His face was full of smiles, and his eyes were almost narrowed into slits. However, he didn't even have time to say a few words of encouragement before another small hand was placed on the crystal ball in front of Lin Feng. In the next second, the crystal ball blossomed with dazzling light. Although it didn't fill up the entire crystal ball like Lin Feng and the others, it still occupied about 90% of it. This person had rank 27 soul power. It was Zhu Zhuqing. She was very surprised just now, but she quickly stabilized her state of mind and came over to test her soul power. Rank 27 soul power. You should be able to directly participate in the 4th test. A clear and cold voice sounded. As if it had some kind of magic, It calmed everyone's excited mood by a bit. Of course you can. Dai Mubai hurriedly nodded. At this moment, Ning Rongrong seemed to be unconvinced. She also placed her hand on the crystal ball and stared at Lin Feng. I could do it too. When her voice fell, the crystal ball emitted a lustrous white light. It seemed like her soul power was at rank 26. At this point, the teacher finally said what he wanted to say. Shrek Academy has so many monsters this year. It's really too good. It seems like I have hope of getting a raise. Mubai, you take the 4 of them to the 4th test. Thus, the group of people quickly walked into the depths of the village under the envious gazes of the other students. Chapter 66. On the way to the 4th test, only Tang San and Dai Mubai were familiar with each other. The two of them chatted as they walked, discussing the recruitment of students and the academy. The others just listened. They would only interrupt when they encountered something they wanted to know. Very quickly, everyone had a certain understanding of the academy. First was the number of students they recruited. Since the establishment of a Shrek Academy, in the past 20 years, they had only recruited 40 students. On average, there were only 2 students a year. Before this, the academy hadn't recruited any new students for 2 years. At this time, there were only 3 people still studying in the academy. It could be said that the Shrek Academy was the only Soul Master Academy in the entire continent that had more teachers than students. Furthermore, the Shrek Academy was extremely poor. The Martial Soul Hall didn't give any subsidies to Soul Masters above rank 40. The teachers in the academy were all paupers. Their salaries were all earned by Flanders. Currently, the academy's main source of income was Dai Mubai's sponsorship and Flanders' grocery store in Soto City. It was truly miserable. In the past 2 years, there hadn't been any new students, and the teachers' salaries had to be paid as usual. It could be said that the Shrek Academy was so poor that it was about to close down. In fact, the Bala Kingdom's royal family wanted to sponsor the academy. However, they required the graduates to be loyal to the royal family for 3 years. This was something impossible for Flanders, so he directly rejected it. Furthermore, the Shrek Academy was somewhat incompatible with the other academies. They were ostracized, so in the end, they had become poor. As they discussed along the way, the 6 of them quickly arrived at the location of the 4th test. This was a small, empty space, about 200 square meters. A middle-aged man in his 50s was sitting in the middle of a chair. Unlike the previous teachers who were full of energy, this fellow was asleep and was even snoring loudly. This was the immovable wisdom king, Zhao Wuji. Cough, cough. Dai Mubai coughed awkwardly. Teacher Zhao, I brought some people for the 3rd test. Huh? Zhao Wuji opened his eyes and looked at Lin Feng and the others. He was slightly surprised. There are so many people coming to the 4th stage this year. As he spoke, Zhao Wuji stood up from his chair. He was not tall, and his appearance was very ordinary. However, his sturdy figure gave people a strong sense of oppression. Looking from afar, it felt as if they were looking at a bear. Teacher Zhao, they all came straight from the 1st stage. All of them are above level 25, Dai Mubai reminded. Hearing this, Zhao Wuji's eyes lit up, and his originally lazy body tensed up a little. Then, he let out a barbel-like laugh. All 5 of you are above level 25. Not bad, not bad. My name is Zhao Wuji, and I'm the invigilator for the 4th test. My trial is testing a Soul Master's actual combat ability. Originally, I was just an invigilator. As long as you guys can last an incense stick's worth of time against Mubai, you will pass. However, since all of you came straight from the 1st stage, I will personally play with you guys. Now, I will give you guys an incense stick's worth of time. The 5 of you will understand each other and come up with a strategy at the same time. After an incense stick's worth of time, the test will begin. And the content of the test is very simple. The 5 of you will come together. As long as one of you can last an incense stick's worth of time against me, the 5 of you will pass. After speaking, Zhao Wuji seemed to have made something out of nothing. He grabbed an incense stick, lit it, and stuck it on the ground. Dai Mubai said hesitantly, Mr. Zhao, that's a little inappropriate. I don't care what you think. I want what I think. Zhao Wuji glared at him. Now that the dean is not in the academy, I am the boss. I have the final say. It's not. Dai Mubai wanted to say something, but hesitated. Zhao Wuji was an impatient person. He directly shouted, "If you have something to say it quickly." Teacher Zhao, I feel that an incense stick's worth of time is too short. Zhao Wuji was a little confused. An incense stick's worth of time is too short? Who are you looking down on, Dai Mubai? In any case, I am a rank 76 soul sage. The strongest of the 5 12-year-old children is at most a soul grandmaster. Even if he stands there and gets hit, nothing will happen to him. With that thought, Zhao Wuji reprimanded. Little Bai, you have guts. You actually dare to look down on me. Tomorrow, I will give you a private lesson on combat. Teacher Zhao, that's not what I meant, Dai Mubai hurriedly said. Among the 5 of them, Lin Feng's second soul ring is a 10,000-year soul ring. The soul skill attached to a 10,000-year soul ring is definitely very strong. That's why I feel that an incense stick's worth of time is too short. What? His second soul ring is a 10,000-year soul ring. Zhao Wuji looked at Lin Feng with a face of disbelief. Ning Rongrong was stunned. She looked left and right. Who? Who has a 10,000-year soul ring? Among the few people present, only she and Zhao Wuji hadn't seen the situation at the village entrance. Zhu Zhuqing had already been shocked once before, so his expression was only slightly strange. At this moment, Lin Feng realized that everyone was looking at him. He helplessly spread out his hands. What are you all looking at me for? It's just a 10,000-year soul ring. What's so strange about it? What? You have a 10,000-year soul ring? I don't believe it. Ning Rongrong circled Lin Feng, her face full of disbelief. Zhao Wuji was even more straightforward. He walked in front of everyone in 2 steps, then looked at Lin Feng. You're Lin Feng, right? Show us your soul ring. Sigh, when you're strong, you're always so eye-catching. Lin Feng didn't want to act pretentious. Someone asked him to. With that thought, Lin Feng's body trembled slightly. 2 soul rings, one yellow and one black, instantly appeared. It was unknown whether it was intentional or not, but when the soul rings appeared, they happened to bump into Ning Rongrong, causing her to stagger back a few steps. However, she didn't have time to think about whether Lin Feng did it on purpose. She was so shocked that she couldn't even speak. What kind of joke was this? His second soul ring was a 10,000-year soul ring. How could a soul master withstand the powerful energy of soul ring? Why didn't he explode? Just like Ning Rongrong, Zhao Wuji also sighed. Why didn't Lin Feng explode from the enormous energy? Could it be that a 10,000-year soul beast sacrificed it to him? Or could it be that Lin Feng's innate talent was extraordinary? Or could it be that his body's composition was very special? In any case, with Zhao Wuji's intellect, he couldn't understand what was going on at this moment. Everyone stared at the black soul ring until Lin Feng put it away. Only then did they come back to their senses. Zhao Wuji said in a deep voice, "He's really a monster among monsters. I've never seen anyone with a 10,000-year soul ring as their second soul ring. However, a soul grandmaster is a soul grandmaster. A 10,000-year soul ring can't change anything. The conditions are the same. As long as the 5 of you can last against me for an incense stick's worth of time, you'll pass the test. Little Bai, introduce me to them." After saying that, Zhao Wuji stood in the middle of the field and waited. Chapter 67. After Zhao Wuji left, everyone quickly recovered from the shock of seeing Lin Feng's 10,000-year soul ring and prepared to deal with the upcoming battle. Just how strong is this teacher Zhao? He's not afraid, even after seeing Feng Ji's 10,000-year soul ring. Xiao Wu giggled. I feel that even a soul emperor wouldn't necessarily be able to resist us 5 soul grandmasters. Xiao Wu was well aware of how strong Lin Feng was. He could probably even kill 10,000-year soul beasts. Now that the 5 of them attacked together, even a soul emperor wouldn't be enough. Teacher Zhao isn't a soul emperor. He's a rank 76 soul sage. Dai Mubai was afraid that they would underestimate him, so he emphasized the word soul sage. Soul sage. Other than Lin Feng, everyone else sucked in a breath of cold air. In the advanced Soul Master Academies, the weaker academies had Soul Emperors as their principals, while the stronger academies had Soul Sages as their principals. Shrek Academy was only an intermediate Soul Master Academy. They were already shocked to see a Soul Emperor at the entrance. But this teacher, Zhao, was actually a Soul Sage. Dai Mubai continued, Teacher Zhao is the vice principal of the academy, which is why he's so strong. Oh right, his martial soul is an extremely strong beast martial soul called the Strength Vajra Bear. This martial soul's defense is extremely terrifying. It has no flaws at all. Even a Soul Sage would find it difficult to harm Teacher Zhao. He's nicknamed the immovable deity in the academy. Also, don't think that a bear-type martial soul is slow. That's only for soul masters of the same rank. Teacher Zhao is already a Soul Sage, so he's much faster than all of you. At this moment, Ning Rongrong was slightly astonished. So he's the immovable deity Zhao Wuji. I heard from my father that he had a conflict with the Martial Soul Hall 10 years ago. At that time, the Martial Soul Hall sent 16 bishops to kill him. Those bishops were all at least rank 60. I didn't expect him to forcibly charge out of the encirclement. He should only have been around rank 60 back then. Now that he's a Soul Sage, wouldn't he be even more powerful? Dai Mubai nodded and said, yes. Teacher Zhao's 7 soul rings were 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 3 black. They're all obtained from soul beasts with great strength and defense. These soul rings are extremely terrifying when it comes to offense and defense. I reckon that even if he stands there and lets you attack him, it will be very difficult for you to cause him any harm. Therefore, I recommend that you do your best to pin him down and drag it out for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. Of course, you have another tactic, and that is to attack. That's because Lin Feng has a 10,000-year soul ring, and it's very beneficial to his body. If his soul skill is very powerful, then you guys might have a chance of beating Teacher Zhao. After all, Teacher Zhao won't use his full strength. At most, he'll use his first 2 soul skills. Hearing this, Ning Rongrong was a little unconvinced. She felt sour in her mouth. Is Lin Feng really that strong? How strong does his martial soul have to be able to beat a Soul Sage? Ning Rongrong's words were obviously a cover-up. The reason was that she was jealous because she saw that Lin Feng had a 10,000-year soul ring, but she didn't. Before Lin Feng could say anything, Xiao Wu said, of course Feng Gu is strong. I don't know if he can beat a Soul Sage, but it'll be very easy for him to beat you to tears with 1 punch. I won't cry. Furthermore, I'm an auxiliary-type Soul Master. You guys have to protect me later. Ning Rongrong had a proud look on her face. Support-type Soul Masters were the most popular type of Soul Master on the continent. They had the highest status among Soul Masters. This was especially so for the 7 Treasures Glazed Pagoda. It was known as the strongest auxiliary-type tool soul on the continent. It was the best companion for Battle Soul Masters. Ning Rongrong was very proud of it. Xiao Wu immediately retorted with a serious look on her face. Feng Gu is also an auxiliary-type Soul Master. We have to protect him later too. What? How can such a big guy awaken an auxiliary-type martial soul? This wasn't because Ning Rongrong was being sexist. On the continent of Douluo, the martial souls awakened by males were more masculine. Almost 90% of auxiliary-type Soul Masters were female. This was why Ning Rongrong was so surprised. Why not? There are differences between auxiliary-type Soul Masters. You and Feng Gu are both auxiliary-type Soul Masters. He can beat you to tears with 1 punch. Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong didn't know what was going on, but they seemed to be a pair of enemies. At this moment, they were talking excitedly. Seeing this, Dai Mubai approached Tang San and quietly asked, Tang San, is Lin Feng strong? Without thinking much, Tang San said matter-of-factly, of course Feng Gu is strong. Although he can't beat Teacher Zhao with 1 punch, he can still kill you with 1 punch. Dai Mubai felt that he had been insulted. After staring blankly for a second or two, he said, He can kill me? I'm a rank 37 assault type soul elder. Can he kill me? If he can kill me today, I'll kill him on the spot. I'll eat all the sausages on Xiao Ao's stall. His voice seemed to be a little loud. Lin Feng's gaze immediately turned to Dai Mubai. Why did Dai Mubai's words sound so familiar? The landlord of joy is still here today, but I don't see the person who ate the screen back then. Dai Mubai also realized that he had forgotten himself. He hurriedly coughed a couple of times and said, "There's not much time left. You guys should quickly get to know each other. Tell us your names and abilities, and see how you guys can cooperate to pass Teacher Zhao's test." After saying this, in order to avoid embarrassment, Dai Mubai immediately ran off. The remaining people looked at each other in dismay. After a few seconds of silence, Lin Feng was the first to speak. "I'm Lin Feng. My martial soul is the immeasurable flower. I'm a rank 29 auxiliary type soul grandmaster." Tang San was the second to speak. "I'm Tang San. My martial soul is blue silvergrass. I'm a rank 29 control type soul grandmaster." Ning Rongrong wanted to speak, but Xiao Wu beat her to it. "I'm Xiao Wu. My martial soul is a rabbit. I'm a rank 29 assault type soul grandmaster." At this moment, Ning Rongrong said angrily, "Ning Rongrong, my martial soul is the Seven Treasures Glazed Pagoda. I'm a rank 26 auxiliary type soul grandmaster." Zhu Zhuqing didn't argue. In the end, he said indifferently, "Zhu Zhuqing, my martial soul is the Netherworld Civet. I'm a rank 27 agility type soul grandmaster." Hearing that everyone else's soul power was higher than hers, Ning Rongrong wasn't convinced, but she didn't think much of it. She was an auxiliary type soul grandmaster, and her cultivation was originally slower than other soul grandmasters. Being able to reach rank 26 was already very good. As for Lin Feng, to be honest, Ning Rongrong still didn't believe that he was an auxiliary type soul grandmaster. After the introductions, Ning Rongrong's martial soul, the Seven Treasures Glazed Pagoda, became the focus of everyone's attention. A few people had wanted to ask about it before, but they didn't have a chance. Now, of course, they had to ask clearly. At this moment, after being questioned by everyone, Ning Rongrong finally regained the feeling of being the moon surrounded by stars. She was so excited that she even looked at Lin Feng provocatively. Then, she said calmly, "Don't worry. I'm from the Seven Treasures Glazed sect, but I snuck out from home. You could just treat me as an ordinary auxiliary type soul grandmaster. Let's talk about it after we pass the test in front of us." Chapter 68. My martial soul is the Seven Treasures Glazed Pagoda. I have 200-year soul rings and can increase everyone's speed and strength by about 30%. It's not a problem for me to last for an incense stick's worth of time. After speaking, Ning Rongrong looked directly at Lin Feng. "My auxiliary effects are average. I think this rank 29 auxiliary type soul grandmaster with a 10,000-year soul ring will definitely be stronger." Although she admitted that she wasn't a match for Lin Feng, anyone with a discerning eye could tell that she was being sarcastic from her tone. Lin Feng frowned and gave a bad evaluation of Ning Rongrong's yin-yang language. It was too deliberate. If they were to grade it, Ning Rongrong's yin-yang language could at most be considered level 1. Also, Xiao was clearly the one who was arguing with you. "Why are you giving me a look? What's wrong? Did sin get into your eyes? Come, I'll blow on it for you." Hey, Tay. Of course, Lin Feng was just thinking about it. As for Ning Rongrong's words, Lin Feng ignored Lin Feng and spoke to Xiao San. "Xiao San, come up with a battle plan for them. You know my martial soul. It's specialized in healing injuries. In a while, you guys can charge forward with all your might. If you're injured, just run towards me." Tang San also knew that Lin Feng was increasing his experience. Just like in the soul hunting forest, Feng Ge would always let him make some arrangements. At this moment, he immediately nodded and started making arrangements for everyone. Although Ning Rongrong was a little unconvinced, she didn't say anything under Xiao Wu's gaze. As for Zhu Zhuqing, it was even simpler. He didn't fight for anything and just stood there quietly. After hearing the arrangements, he nodded lightly. Just like that, under Tang San's command, the few of them quickly decided on a battle plan. During this time, Lin Feng silently watched everyone from the side. His body leaned back slightly, looking like a big shot. Feng Gu, there shouldn't be any problems with my arrangement, right? Tang Sen asked Lin Feng for his opinion after he finished formulating his strategy. Lin Feng smiled. That's good. Don't worry about it later. As long as you don't get beaten to death, I guarantee you'll be alive and kicking right away. Lin Feng was already speaking very conservatively. If his first soul skill was activated continuously, Tang San and the others would be able to heal themselves in an instant. They wouldn't even have the chance to be seriously injured. However, in order to hide his abilities, Lin Feng didn't reveal that his first soul skill had an AoE recovery ability in front of others. Instead, he had always looked like a single-target healer. As soon as Lin Feng finished speaking, Tang San and Xiao Wu didn't think much of it. After all, they had seen the strength of Lin Feng's martial soul. However, the others didn't believe it. Ning Rongrong directly questioned, "You'll be alive and kicking as soon as you don't get beaten to death? Do you think your martial soul is an immortal medicine? I don't believe it." Zhu Zhuqing also frowned slightly. He felt that Lin Feng was boasting. It was true that healing-type martial souls were very strong, even more popular than those amplification-type martial souls. However, there was still a limit to it. Perhaps those healing-type soul masters above rank 70 could save people from the brink of death. However, Lin Feng was only a soul grandmaster. Could he reach the level of a soul sage? Ning Rongrong didn't believe it at all. If you don't believe it, then forget it. In a while, Teacher Zhao will focus on hitting you. I won't save you. Lin Feng directly threatened Ning Rongrong. The latter immediately lowered her voice and stubbornly said, "You're a healing-type soul master, and you're a bigger threat than my amplification type. Teacher Zhao will definitely hit you first." Hee. Lin Feng smiled. "I'm very fast. He can't hit me. He can only hit you." Ning Rongrong was speechless for a moment. She remembered the scene in the hotel 2 days ago. At that time, she had 2 buffs on her, and her speed was already very fast. However, Lin Feng had easily dodged her. Ning Rongrong couldn't refute Lin Feng's speed. However, Zhu Zhuqing gently shook his head. He was just an auxiliary-type soul master. Even if he had a 10,000-year soul ring, how fast could he be? Could he be faster than an agility-type soul master like her? Just as he was about to argue, Zhao Wuji stood up and said, "All right, children, the time for an incense stick is up. Are you ready?" Hearing this, everyone quickly stopped talking. Tang San stepped forward. "Teacher Zhao, we're ready." "Good. Then let's begin." With that, Zhao Wuji took out an incense stick out of thin air, lit it, and stuck it into the ground. This incense stick was like a signal, and Tang San and the others immediately entered the zone. Even though Ning Rongrong was scolding Lin Feng in her heart, she still had a serious expression on her face. 7 treasures, Liuli. This time, Ning Rongrong's martial soul didn't just flash like before. As her voice fell, a 7-colored light lit up from her body. Wearing a white dress, she looked like a fairy under the 7-colored light. In the center of her right palm, there was a 7-colored pagoda more than a foot tall. 2 yellow 100-year soul rings quietly emerged from beneath her feet and revolved around her. 7 treasures. First, strength. Following Ning Rongrong's incantation, her first soul ring flashed 4 times. Her fingertips lightly tapped the pagoda, and 4 rays of light flew out one after another and landed on everyone's bodies. It seemed that releasing 4 soul skills in a row took a toll on her. After pausing for a second or two, Ning Rongrong continued to shout. 7 treasures. Second, speed. The second soul ring behind her flashed again, and 4 rays of light floated out from the pagoda and landed on the 4 people's bodies. For a moment, other than Lin Feng, the others felt their bodies fill with strength. Their bodies became lighter, and they felt as if they were floating. As for Lin Feng, his physique was too strong, and the difference between the two of them was too great. Ning Rongrong's enhancement was infinitely reduced on him, and it was almost equivalent to nothing, so he didn't feel anything. However, Although Ning Rongrong was a little unruly, she still had perseverance. Releasing 8 soul skills in a row in a short period of time and maintaining the enhancement was not something an ordinary soul grandmaster could do. Ning Rongrong still had some ability. On the other side, Zhao Wuji also noticed the 7 treasures glazed pagoda in Ning Rongrong's hand. Good fellow, a soul master from the 7 treasures glazed sect actually came this year. Interesting. When that old ghost Flanders sees this, he'll probably jump in excitement. Just as he finished speaking, Zhao Wuji suddenly slammed his fists on the ground, and a circle of earth-yellow shockwaves attacked Lin Feng and the others with him as the center. Tang San immediately saw that Zhao Wuji wanted to interrupt Ning Rongrong's enhancement. He immediately shouted, "Go!" Zhu Zhuqing and Xiao Wu reacted quickly. They jumped up and attacked Zhao Wuji. Ning Rongrong had just finished enhancing everyone, so even if she was reminded, she couldn't react in time. Fortunately, a blue-silver grass appeared in Tang San's hand. In the next second, a blue-black vine flung out and wrapped around Ning Rongrong's waist. Tang San quickly jumped up and brought Ning Rongrong into the air. As for Lin Feng, he only took a few steps back. The shockwaves just happened to dissipate in front of Lin Feng. The remaining power brought about a breeze that blew the fringe in front of Lin Feng's forehead. It was indescribably handsome. Chapter 69. Your reactions are quite fast. Zhao Wuji praised everyone's reaction speed. However, at this moment, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing also attacked. One attacked the top lane, while the other attacked the bottom lane. Faced with their attacks, Zhao Wuji smiled and even placed his hands behind his back, as if he was letting them hit him. He was a rank 76 soul sage. If his defense could be broken by 2 young ladies today, he wouldn't be able to survive. Xiao Wu was the main attacker, while Zhu Zhuqing attacked from the side. She would only attack when she found a good opportunity. After all, agility-type soul masters were better at sneak attacks. With Lin Feng holding the line, Xiao Wu didn't care about her own injuries at all. She fought very wildly. Even though she was facing a rank 76 soul sage, she still kicked straight at Zhao Wuji's head. Good heavens, she's really ruthless. At this moment, Zhao Wuji couldn't care less about acting cool on the spot and immediately dodged to the side. However, Tang San's vines attacked at the right time and grabbed Zhao Wuji, causing him to stand on the spot and have no choice but to defend. Bang! Xiao Wu's kick was blocked by Zhao Wuji's arm. Following that, Zhao Wuji grabbed with his hand and wanted to throw Xiao Wu away. However, what he didn't know was that this kick was just a feint by Xiao Wu. The moment her foot touched Zhao Wuji's arm, Xiao Wu climbed onto his shoulder. Her legs locked onto his throat. First soul skill, waist bow. At the same time, Tang San's vines wrapped around Zhao Wuji's legs in an instant. Her second soul skill, parasitism. Zhao Wuji's legs went numb, and he lost his balance. Xiao Wu exerted strength from her waist and threw him into the air with a twist of her body. At this time, Tang San and Xiao Wu's cooperation was much better than in the original work. In these few seconds, the 2 of them had carried out 2 joint attacks. Their efficiency was extremely powerful. Interesting, I'm going to get serious. Zhao Wuji growled while he was still in the air. In the next second, the vigorous King Kong Bear Martial Soul directly attached to his body, and 7 soul rings appeared instantly. The huge soul power fluctuation not only tore apart Tang San's vines, but also sent Xiao Wu flying. Even Zhu Zhuqing, who was looking for an opportunity to attack, was forced to take a few steps back. While Xiao Wu was flying in the air, Tang San wrapped his vines around her and pulled her back. At this moment, Zhao Wuji's soul power was fully unleashed. They didn't have a good opportunity to attack, so they gathered together and prepared to defend. Children, your cooperation is very good, but it's a pity that you won't have a chance next. With that, Zhao Wuji directly attacked Ning Rongrong. These little fellows were able to reach rank 25 at the age of 12 and had such tacit cooperation. In Zhao Wuji's heart, they had already passed. No matter what the outcome of this battle was, the academy would accept them. But before that, Zhao Wuji still had to use some strength to kill their arrogance. Xiao Wu, you and I will stop him. Ning Rongrong, you stand behind Fengge. Zhu Zhuqing, you look for an opportunity at the side. Facing Zhao Wuji, who was twice as big as before, Tang Xin calmly made arrangements. Hearing this, everyone else moved. However, Lin Feng touched his nose speechlessly. Sigh, I was actually ignored by Xiao San. Tang San's side was fighting fiercely, but Ning Rongrong directly went in front of Lin Feng. Hey, that Tang Xin told me to hide behind you. Does that mean he wants you to protect me? Lin Feng ignored her and continued to look forward, waiting for someone to run to his side with an injured person. Hey, I'm talking to you. Ning Rongrong wanted to reach out and push Lin Feng, but she didn't expect the latter to easily dodge and let her push him. At this point, Ning Rongrong also knew that Lin Feng didn't want to talk to her. She didn't ask for a snub and only muttered at the side, I knew you were a fake support-type soul master. You must be very strong. Why don't you go and fight with Teacher Zhao? I'm really in support-type soul master. Lin Feng felt a little puzzled. He didn't seem to have fought before. At most, he showed his soul ring at the entrance of the village. Why did everyone suspect that he wasn't in support-type soul master? Ning Rongrong was like this, and Dai Mubai's small eyes were full of disbelief. They were really helpless. I don't believe it. Ning Rongrong still didn't believe it. At this moment, Xiao Wu was suddenly sent flying by Zhao Wuji. Although Tang Xin quickly caught her, she was also seriously injured. Xiao Wu wasn't worried at all about this. She quickly ran to Lin Feng's side and shouted with an exaggerated face, Fengge, quick! I'm going to die. Quickly save me. Dye your head. Lin Feng knocked her head, then gently waved his hand. The martial soul in his hand flashed, and only a faint green light could be seen. Xiao Wu's injuries were healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Because it was too fast, Ning Rongrong didn't even see the situation clearly. She only felt that the air in front of her seemed to have become sweeter. Thank you, Fengge. After saying this, Xiao Wu quickly returned to the battlefield. At this moment, Ning Rongrong regained her senses. She said with a face of astonishment, What martial soul do you have? And was that green light just now a soul skill? Although Xiao Wu was only lightly injured, she was healed in a few seconds after being illuminated by your green light. It's really too inconceivable. Didn't I say it before? Immeasurable flower. My martial soul can heal others. Lin Feng looked at Ning Rongrong as if he was looking at an idiot. Then he shook his head. Does this guy have amnesia? Lin Feng remembered that he said it not long ago. While they were talking, a situation indeed occurred on the battlefield. Perhaps because he was annoyed by being involved. Zhao Wuji's first soul ring lit up, unshaken body of the Bright King. Once the soul skill was activated, Zhao Wuji's defense instantly exploded. He endured the damage from the three people and charged towards Lin Feng. That's right, his target was Lin Feng. Previously, Lin Feng didn't make a move, nor did he support anyone. Zhao Wuji thought that he was just a decoration. However, Xiao Wu's actions made him deeply understand how terrifying Lin Feng was. With such a strong recovery ability, as long as Lin Feng was there, his so-called incense stick's worth of time was a joke. Therefore, at this time, he had to beat Lin Feng until he lost his support ability. He's coming. Lin Feng, quickly protect me. Ning Rongrong thought that Zhao Wuji had his eyes on her and immediately hid behind Lin Feng, her small face full of fear. Don't worry. He's not looking for you. He's looking for me. After saying that, Lin Feng directly ran to the side, not caring about Ning Rongrong at all. The latter didn't believe it at first, thinking that Lin Feng was afraid. However, when she saw that Zhao Wuji was indeed following Lin Feng, she sighed in relief. Very good. Your vigilance is very high. Zhao Wuji praised Lin Feng. At this time, he was already less than 10 meters away from Lin Feng. With his speed, it seemed that he would catch Lin Feng in the next second. Suddenly, the 10,000-year second soul ring behind Lin Feng suddenly lit up. A ball of dark purple energy flew out from his hand and hit Zhao Wuji in the blink of an eye. It turned into a huge net and wrapped around him. Feeling the paralyzing poison from the net, Zhao Wuji frowned and immediately used his second soul skill, Vigorous Vajra Palm. In the end, his soul power was strong. It was clearly only a 100-year soul skill, but in Zhao Wuji's hands, it displayed great power and easily tore apart Lin Feng's huge net. This is your 10,000-year soul skill. It's actually a control-type soul skill. As expected, you have some skills. If I didn't break free quickly, the paralyzing poison might have restricted my movements. However, I reckon that with your current soul power, the consumption of a 10,000-year soul skill is too great. It should be very difficult for you to use it a second time in a short period of time. As if he felt that he had beaten Lin Feng, Zhao Wuji was still in the mood to explain. Everyone listened and felt that it was very reasonable. Lin Feng was a soul grandmaster. It was too difficult for him to use a 10,000-year soul skill. He should be out of soul power after using it once. However, in the next second, something that shocked everyone happened. Actually, my soul power consumption is very small. As his voice fell, the black soul ring behind Lin Feng flickered continuously. In a short second, 5 to 6 balls of dark purple energy rushed towards Zhao Wuji. Everyone, Zhao Wuji. P.S. End of 5th update. Chapter 70. The Umbra binding that Lin Feng was using was actually much more suppressive. Otherwise, Zhao Wuji might not have been able to break free if he didn't use his martial soul true body. At this moment, Zhao Wuji was surrounded by 3 huge nets. Tang Xin didn't have time to be surprised. He immediately called for Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing to beat him up. However, their movements were still a beat too slow. Zhao Wuji, who was trapped, actually used his 6th soul skill, Vigorous Vajra Roar, out of anger or some other reason. This was an area of effect soul skill. It didn't affect Lin Feng much, but Tang San and the others who were nearby might be seriously injured. Fortunately, Zhao Wuji didn't lose his mind. His roar was mainly to break free from Lin Feng's control. When the huge net was released, he immediately stopped roaring. Even so, of the 3 people who were near, Zhu Zhuqing directly fainted from the shock. Tang San and Xiao Wu were also dizzy and could not stand steadily. Ning Rongrong, who was far away, covered her ears. Dai Mubai's expression changed. He didn't expect Zhao Wuji to use his 6th soul skill and knock out Zhu Zhuqing. He was prepared to take Zhu Zhuqing away, but Zhao Wuji shouted at this moment. Lin Feng, right? You're very good. You actually forced me to use my 6th soul skill. You've already passed the test. However, you forced me into such a sorry state. I'll give you your first lesson now. With that, Zhao Wuji stomped his feet and charged towards Lin Feng like a cannonball. Seeing this, Dai Mubai slapped his forehead. Teacher Zhao is angry. It seems like Lin Feng is going to be taught a lesson. It wasn't that he didn't think highly of Lin Feng, but the gap between the two was too big. Fast. Can't catch him? No such thing. One was a soul sage, while the other was only a soul grandmaster. No matter how fast Lin Feng was, it was impossible for him to dodge. Furthermore, Lin Feng had used his 10,000-year soul skill 4 times in a row. It seemed like he was already a little tired, and his soul power was probably running out. It shouldn't be long before he was beaten up by Teacher Zhao. But in the next moment, Dai Mubai was slapped in the face. Under his and Ning Rongrong's shocked gazes, all of Zhao Wuji's attacks were dodged by Lin Feng. Although it seemed like he was still slightly faster than Zhao Wuji. Is this guy really in T have a soul grandmaster? Even an agility-type soul master can't have such speed. Dai Mubai muttered to himself. A 10,000-year soul ring is this powerful. Unlike the people around them who were just watching the show, Zhao Wuji, who was the person involved, felt extremely uncomfortable. It was true that he wanted to teach Lin Feng a lesson, but he had to beat Lin Feng into submission first. Lin Feng's condition wasn't very good. He still had a chance to beat him into submission with just his physical strength, but if he used his soul skill, it wouldn't be very good. Therefore, Zhao Wuji didn't use a single soul skill. He just wanted to use his physical strength to catch Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng was like a loach. He actually dodged all of his attacks, which made him feel very uncomfortable. After a few seconds, Zhao Wuji roared, "Do you only know how to dodge?" Lin Feng suddenly pulled away and said with a strenuous expression, "Teacher Zhao, I'm an auxiliary-type soul grandmaster. My speed is my life-saving skill. Don't tell me I don't dodge and fight you head-on. I won't use my martial soul, so don't dodge. I'll teach you real combat skills." After all, Zhao Wuji had used the excuse of a real combat lesson before. Now, what he said was justified. As he said this, he really did withdraw his martial soul. His speed immediately slowed down. "Are you sure?" Lin Feng seemed to be afraid. "Cut the crap. Come, I'll teach you how to fight." Zhao Wuji directly stepped forward and threw a punch at Lin Feng. At the same time, the corner of Lin Feng's mouth rose slightly. "Then I'll make my move." After saying the last, Lin Feng's entire body was like a ghost. In an instant, he rushed to Zhao Wuji's side and punched him in the chest. Bang! Following a muffled sound, Zhao Wuji's expression changed 3 times in an extremely short period of time. First, he was disdainful. At this time, the fist had yet to hit him. Then he was shocked. At this time, Lin Feng's fist had already landed on his body. Finally, when he was sent flying, his face was full of shock. "Yeah, who am I?" "Zhao Wuji, a rank 76 soul sage. Where am I?" "In the sky. What has happened?" "I was sent flying by a rank 29 auxiliary-type soul master with a single punch." When Zhao Wuji fell to the ground, he was completely stunned. He felt as if his world had been shaken. He was a soul sage, but he had actually been sent flying by a 12-year-old brat's punch. Although he didn't use any soul power, this shouldn't be possible. Even if Dai Mubai was in his best state, he was far from being able to do this. This Lin Feng, is he a monster? When Zhao Wuji thought of Dai Mubai's face was already a little pale. In the beginning, when Tang San said that Lin Feng could send him flying with a single punch, he had a look of disbelief. Now, it seemed that not only could Lin Feng send him flying with a single punch, but he could also severely injure him. He could even kill him with 2 punches. Then, I should find a chance to eat Xiao Ao's sausage. As for Lin Feng claiming to be an auxiliary-type soul master, to hell with it. This Lin Feng was indeed Tang San's big brother. Tang San's trick of lying about being an auxiliary-type soul master should have been learned from him. There was also that poisonous mouth Xiao Wu. These 3 guys were very bad. In the field, Lin Feng looked at Zhao Wuji, who stood up with a shocked expression, and knew that he couldn't continue fighting. He smiled and went forward to cup his fists. "Teacher Zhao, thank you for letting me win." The latter was stunned, then quickly waved his hand. "You guys did well. You passed the 4th test and officially became a member of Shrek Academy. Little Bai, I have something to do and will leave first. If there are more students coming later, you could take care of them." After saying that, Zhao Wuji, who had lost face, quickly left. He couldn't even handle a 12-year-old kid. In the future, Zhao Wuji would probably be traumatized whenever he saw Lin Feng. Looking at the desolate figure leaving quickly, Tang San sighed slightly. Feng Ge was really too strong. He could even send teacher Zhao flying with a single punch. This teacher Zhao was probably beaten up badly by Feng Ge. Sigh, I hope he's fine. Bless. After Zhao Wuji left, Dai Mubai immediately surrounded him. Ning Rongrong was still staring at Lin Feng in shock. She wanted to say something, but she didn't know how to start. Tang San and Xiao Wu's heads were still a little buzzing, but it wasn't a big deal. As for Lin Feng, he was slightly absent-minded, because just after the battle, Lin Feng realized that the system actually gave him a lot of experience points. A lot of them. Ding! After an intense battle, the host defeated the rank 76 Soul Sage, Zhao Wuji. Actual combat experience increased. Experience points plus 542,420. Chapter 71. Over 500,000 experience points was a little too much, wasn't it? It was so much that Lin Feng felt a little baffled. A soul sage was equivalent to a 30 to 50,000-year-old soul beast. Lin Feng often fought against soul beasts of this age, but because he had fought against them so many times, he only received a few tens of thousands of experience points each time. Even a long time ago, he only received about 100,000 experience points. But now, after fighting with Zhao Wuji for a while, he was rewarded with 500,000 experience points. Was it because his opponent was a soul sage? Lin Feng guessed that this was very likely the reason, because this was his first time fighting against a high-ranked soul sage. Before this, the highest-ranked soul sage Lin Feng had fought against was a soul ancestor. When he met Qian Rinxue in the Setting Sun Forest, he didn't even fight her, so he didn't see much experience points. A soul ancestor only gave a little more than 10,000 experience points. Lin Feng didn't think that there was anything special about it. He didn't expect that he would receive 500,000 in one go. TSK, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. He felt as if he had discovered a new world. If a soul sage was worth 500,000, then what about soul Douluo? Title Douluo? Wouldn't it be over 1 million? 10 million? Just thinking about it made Lin Feng's experience points boil. It's decided. In the future, Zhao Wuji would be Lin Feng's experience baby in the Shrek Academy. Lin Feng would find him to spar whenever he had the chance. As for Soul Douluo and Title Douluo, he couldn't be in a hurry. It was better to wait until later. There weren't many soul masters of these two ranks in the entire continent. There were even fewer of them who traveled alone. They were usually in large organizations. If Lin Feng wanted to spar with them, it would be a little difficult. Take the Martial Soul Main Hall in Soto City as an example. The Palace Master was a rank 84 Soul Douluo, and the 3 Vice Palace Masters were all Soul Sages. Most importantly, there were many Soul Emperors in the palace as well. If Lin Feng went all out, he still had the confidence to escape unscathed from their encirclement. However, that would definitely cause a huge commotion and be too ostentatious. It was the same for most of the other experts. Sects, clans, and so on were places where soul cultivators gathered. It was very difficult for Lin Feng to create an environment where he could spar alone. Soul masters weren't like soul beasts. As long as he was within a certain range, Lin Feng wouldn't be afraid even if the soul beasts called for help. After all, the strongest soul beasts in that area were only SOSO, and there wouldn't be any 100,000-year soul beasts. But it was different for soul masters. Once the news spread out, the top forces would pay attention to what Lin Feng had done. Douluo would investigate what he had done. That wasn't a big deal. Lin Feng would change his location after each shot and hide his identity. Not even Douluo would be able to catch him. In the future, when things got serious and the impact was great, he could just stop doing it. At first, it sounded like a good idea. He could earn a lot of experience points without attracting attention. But on second thought, Lin Feng realized something was wrong. What he had done would have a great impact on the various forces on the continent. After all, Douluo, a nameless title battle pet warrior, was looking for fights everywhere. Even if he didn't kill anyone, he would still be a thorn in people's hearts. Such an impact might speed up the development of the world. If he became a god before Bidong and had to conquer the continent, Lin Feng wouldn't even have a place to cry. As for creating trouble quickly, he could earn experience points like crazy and then become a titled battle pet warrior, Douluo. He had to admit that this idea was very tempting. As long as he could earn experience points fast enough, no enemy could stop him. But there were too many uncertainties. What if Soul Douluo could earn him hundreds of thousands of experience points? What if he couldn't afford the experience points in a short period of time, and so on? Of course, those are all his own factors. What about external factors? Were the people in Douluo's world all idiots? Not necessarily. What if Soul Douluo decided to fish him out? By then, before Lin Feng grew up, he would run into a bunch of titled battle pet warriors at the same time. Douluo wouldn't even be able to run away. Therefore, in the end, instead of risking his life to increase his strength in a short period of time, he would rather work steadily and grow up in secret. After all, Lin Feng had plenty of time. He wasn't in a hurry. Wouldn't it be better to take his time to become a god? Feng Ge, Mr. Zhao didn't do anything to you, did he? Seeing that Lin Feng was in a daze, all of a sudden, Tang San, who had recovered a bit, came over and asked with concern. He thought that Zhao Wuji had injured Lin Feng. I'm fine. Who are you, Fengge? How could anything happen to you? Lin Feng smiled faintly, as if it was a small matter. Xiao Wu also walked over while supporting the unconscious Zhu Zhuqing. Fengge, Mr. Zhao's roar was too powerful. Zhu Zhuqing has fainted from the shock. Please save her. At this moment, Dai Mubai explained, that roar just now was Mr. Zhao's sixth soul skill. It's an extremely powerful soul skill with an area of effect. I heard that Mr. Zhao killed a 10,000-year soul beast with his roar last year. Fortunately, he only used it to break through the control just now and stopped after a while. This way, Tang San and Xiao Wu had a chance to resist it. However, Zhu Zhuqing, who is slightly weaker, fainted. It will probably take some time for her to wake up. Dai Mubai was truly convinced by Lin Feng, but he felt that it would be very difficult to remove the coma. After all, Lin Feng's martial soul could recover from injuries so quickly and had such a powerful control skill. This martial soul was already very strong. If he could remove the coma, then he could only be envious. No need to wait. She'll wake up soon. Lin Feng smiled and placed his hand on Zhu Zhuqing's forehead. A green light flickered faintly. Soon, Zhu Zhuqing felt warm all over, as if she had a good sleep. Finally, she slowly woke up. Seeing this scene, Ning Rongrong subconsciously exclaimed, "Impossible! This is simply too inconceivable. I've never seen a martial soul like this before. It has so many functions, and it's so powerful." The scene of Lin Feng and Zhao Wuji's battle had given her too much of a shock. Even though she had leaned over just now, she didn't know what to say for a moment. Only now did she find the opportunity to speak. It was no wonder that Ning Rongrong was so surprised. She had the same thoughts as Dai Mubai. Lin Feng's martial soul had already violated the basic principles. The principle was very simple. In terms of the effects of an auxiliary-type martial soul, it was either mixed but not refined, or refined but not mixed. In layman's terms, if an auxiliary-type martial soul had too many functions, then the effects wouldn't be very strong. It was the same the other way around. If the effects were strong, then the martial soul wouldn't have too many functions. Just like the 7 treasures glazed pagoda, all the soul skills of this martial soul were used to strengthen others, so the effects were extremely strong. It was known as the number 1 auxiliary-type martial soul. However, Lin Feng's flower had such a strong healing effect. Logically speaking, all of his soul skills should have been used to heal his injuries. However, not only did he have control skills, he could also remove the coma. Ning Rongrong didn't even see Lin Feng use any soul skills. With a wave of his hand, Zhu Zhuqing woke up from her coma. It was too inconceivable. Chapter 72. What's impossible about that? Fengge has innate full soul power, and he even has a variant martial soul. It's normal that you haven't heard of him. Xiao Wu said with a face full of pride, as if she was talking about herself. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. A variant martial soul? No wonder he was so strong. A variant martial soul was a special kind of martial soul that went against the principles of martial souls. Some variant martial souls were very weak, but some were ridiculously strong. It was very clear that Lin Feng belonged to the ridiculously strong category. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing was also completely awake. He looked at Lin Feng. "You saved me? Also, do we pass the 4th trial?" Lin Feng nodded slightly. "We passed." Dai Mubai said from the side. "The dean hasn't returned yet. You'll officially enter the school tomorrow. I'll take you on a tour of the school first, and then I'll take you to the dorms." Lin Feng had brought a lot of shock to everyone, but they would all be classmates in the future. The days of shock would be long, and they couldn't be shocked endlessly on the first day, right? Therefore, everyone quickly suppressed the emotions in their hearts and followed Dai Mubai to the academy's dorms. However, before they left, Dai Mubai called out to Oscar from afar, asking him to help take a look at the 4th trial. As for the matter of eating a stall of sausages, Lin Feng didn't mention it, so Dai Mubai got away with it. Although the Shrek Academy was small, it was still a standard school building. It was located in the northwest corner of the village, and there were basic buildings inside, but they were a bit shabby. Under Dai Mubai's guidance, everyone chatted while looking around. It was very interesting, and the atmosphere wasn't awkward at all, especially when Dai Mubai talked about the incident at the hotel 2 days ago. Everyone was very interested. Tang San, why did you say you were an auxiliary-type soul master when you were sparring with Dai Mubai? You're clearly a control type, Ning Rongrong asked curiously. Tang San scratched the back of his head and said shyly, when I meet strangers outside, of course, I can't tell them about myself directly. This is a way to protect myself. So that's how it is. Everyone nodded. They had learned something. Ning Rongrong was amazed. Your teacher must have had a lot of experience. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taught you such survival skills. Xiao Wu laughed. Teacher didn't teach us this. Feng Ge taught us this. When we were studying in Nodding City, Feng Ge brought us to the soul hunting forest to train. We helped people hunt soul beasts and earn gold coins. During that time, he taught us a lot. Just the three of you went to the soul hunting forest to help people hunt soul beasts? Dai Mubai probed. 10-year soul beasts? There was a fundamental difference between hunting soul beasts by oneself and helping people hunt soul beasts. For the former, you could be slightly weaker than the soul beast as long as you were ruthless enough to kill it. For the latter, you needed to control your strength and ensure that you didn't get hurt. You had to severely injure the soul beast, subdue it, and then kill it for the boss. If you wanted to control a soul beast, you had to be much stronger than the soul beast. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to bring the boss along. Normally, only soul elders had complete confidence in leading people to hunt 100-year soul beasts. Therefore, Dai Mubai felt that Lin Feng and the others were leading people to hunt 10-year soul beasts. Of course, it's 100-year soul beasts. 10-year soul beasts are too weak. I can easily defeat them, let alone the three of us. Seemingly because of Dai Mubai's contempt, Xiao Wu's tone became more serious. When she said this, everyone was very surprised. Amazing. They can actually lead people to hunt 100-year soul beasts. In response, Xiao Wu rolled her eyes. If Lin Feng hadn't said that they couldn't tell the truth, she would have said that it was a 1,000-year soul beast. Even if it was a 100-year soul beast, their combined strength was already at the level of a soul elder or even a soul ancestor. Shrek Academy wasn't big. Soon, everyone finished looking around and had a basic understanding of the Academy's buildings. Dai Mubai brought everyone to the cafeteria for lunch. After that, it was time to distribute the dorms. Shrek Academy's dorms were 2-person rooms. It was many times better than Nodding Academy's dorms. Moreover, because there were very few students, there were many empty rooms. Dai Mubai and the others stayed in one room each. It was very carefree. Lin Feng naturally chose to stay in one room each. Immediately after, Tang San also chose to stay in one room each. Originally, Dai Mubai wanted to invite Tang San to stay with him, but before he could say anything, his plan was ruined. Xiao Wu's choice was completely different from the other two. She chose to stay with Zhu Zhuqing. The latter was originally unwilling. Zhu Zhuqing had a cold personality and was used to being alone. However, it was unknown whether it was because Xiao Wu was too enthusiastic or because Lin Feng had saved her from her coma. Anyway, at this time, Zhu Zhuqing was very curious about Lin Feng and the other two. Staying with Xiao Wu seemed to be a good choice. So in the end, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing stayed together. As for Ning Rongrong, she actually wanted to stay with others. The reason why she sneaked out of the sect was because it was too boring in the sect. She wanted to come out to see the world and make friends. But unfortunately, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing had already chosen their rooms. She wanted to say something, but due to her pride, she pretended not to care and chose to stay alone. After tidying up the dorms, it was already nighttime. The academy's enrollment had also ended. At this time, a group of people were gathered together in the cafeteria to eat dinner. As I expected, the 5 of you are Shrek Academy's enrollment this year. No one else was recruited after that. Dai Mubai carried the food and sat in front of everyone. Looks like we're in luck. Lin Feng smiled and deliberately led him on. Didn't you say that there were 3 more students in the academy? Why do I only see you and Oscar? Daimu Bai said, the third guy is a little special. He usually doesn't stay in the dorms, but at his girlfriend's house. What's special about him? This was Tang San's question. How old is he? How does he have a girlfriend? This was Xiao Wu's question. After she finished speaking, she secretly glanced at Tang San. Dai Mubai's expression was slightly strange as he said, he's not old. He's only 1 year older than you guys. The reason why he's special is because he's the same as Lin Feng. He also has a mutated martial spirit. Another mutated martial spirit. Everyone's face was filled with curiosity. That guy is called Ma Hongjun. He's a little fatty. He wasn't recruited by the academy. He was specially brought back by Dean Flanders 2 years ago. He can be considered his last disciple. His martial spirit is a benign mutation, but it has a weakness. It's stronger in that aspect. So in this year, he's found several girlfriends. Hearing this, everyone except Lin Feng blushed slightly. Chapter 73. At night, everyone returned to their dormitories and waited for the next day's entrance exam. Lin Feng was meditating when his right ear suddenly twitched. He heard the sound of fighting coming from the woods to the west of the academy. It wasn't loud, but Lin Feng still heard it with his keen hearing. Lin Feng wanted to go and check it out, but as soon as he left the dormitory, he stopped and slowly walked back. There was no need to go. He had guessed that Tang San's overprotective father had come to teach Zhao Wuji a lesson. Maybe Flanders was there too. If Lin Feng went a peek, Tang Hao would definitely find out. After all, that was a rank 97 title battle pet warrior, one of the most powerful people on the continent. Lin Feng wouldn't even be able to fight back. In the past few years, whenever Lin Feng was with Tang San, he would be very careful, whether it was in Noden City or in the soul hunting forest. No matter what he did, he would only show his strength to a certain extent, and he would not go too far. The main reason he did that was to prevent Tang Hao from following him in secret and discovering his secret. He had to admit that Lin Feng was doing the right thing. In the first few years, Lin Feng was too weak to notice anything. But later, in the 5th and 6th grades, as Lin Feng became stronger, his senses also increased rapidly. During this period, there were a few times when he went to soul hunting forest with Tang San. Perhaps it was because Tang Hao was too close, or perhaps it was because he did not think that he would be discovered, so he made a little noise. Once or twice might not be a big deal, but after a few times, Lin Feng knew that Tang Hao was probably secretly protecting Tang San. Fortunately, Lin Feng didn't show anything in front of Tang San and the others, so Tang Hao shouldn't have discovered his secret. On the way to Soto City, Lin Feng also had a faint feeling that he was being spied on. At that time, he guessed that it was Tang Hao, and now it was confirmed. There was no other reason for Tang Hao to teach Zhao Wuji a lesson. Tang Hao wanted to tell Flanders and the others that Tang San was his son and that they had to teach him well. There were 2 Tang San from the Holy Soul Church and a grandmaster with an extremely strong theoretical foundation. Tang Hao knew that there was no other school with such good teachers in the entire continent. Therefore, he felt at ease when he placed Tang San here to study. At the same time, after letting go of Tang San, Tang Hao had time to do his own things. The battle in the small forest soon quieted down. Tang Hao left, leaving behind only Zhao Wuji, who was cursing, and Flender, who was deep in thought. The next morning, Lin Feng ended a night of meditation, took a shower, and then walked toward the cafeteria. Yesterday, Dai Mubai said that at around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, Flanders would ring the academy's bell, and then they would gather at the field. Now, it was not even 7 o'clock. Lin Feng didn't panic at all. He prepared to have breakfast and then stretch his muscles. However, when he arrived at the cafeteria, he found that breakfast was not ready yet. He still had to wait for more than half an hour. At this time, Lin Feng realized that life in Shrek Academy was much slower than he had imagined. Walking in the academy, Lin Feng didn't see many people. It seemed that many people had not woken up yet. However, when he arrived at the field, he saw 3 people: Tang San, Xiao Wu, and Zhu Zhuqing. There was no need to talk about Tang San and Xiao Wu. Lin Feng knew that they were doing their daily morning exercises. It was a habit that had been cultivated for 6 years. It was not something that could be forgotten just by changing the environment. Before this, when they were on the road, they would find time to do their morning exercises, let alone now that they were in school. However, Zhu Zhuqing was actually doing the same thing as the two of them. This surprised Lin Feng. However, he didn't think too much about it. Lin Feng walked over and greeted them. The three of them stopped what they were doing. Xiao Wu teased, "Feng Ge, why did you wake up so late today? Don't tell me you're lazing in bed." Lazing in bed? Lin Feng tilted his head and glanced at Xiao Wu. Then, a big smile appeared on his face. "Xiao Wu, we haven't exchanged pointers for almost a month. Now's a good time. Let's exchange pointers and see if you've been slacking off during this time." Xiao Wu's little face was like a frosted eggplant. "Feng Ge, I've been working very hard. Let's not exchange pointers." Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing was slightly surprised. She had fainted early yesterday and didn't see the scene where Lin Feng sent Zhao Wuji flying with a punch. Although she had asked Xiao Wu in the dormitory, Xiao Wu didn't tell her in detail. She only said that they had defeated Zhao Wuji in the end. Feng Ge was very powerful. Therefore, from Zhu Zhuqing's point of view, this defeat should mean that everyone worked together to resist for the time it took to burn an incense stick. However, Lin Feng's assistance was the main reason. But now, Lin Feng was an auxiliary-type soul master. Why would he want to exchange pointers with a battle soul master? And why did Xiao Wu look so scared? Could it be that a 10,000-year soul ring was so terrifying? Could it make an auxiliary-type soul master stronger than a battle soul master? She was puzzled, but Lin Feng continued, "Whether you worked hard or not, we'll know after we exchange pointers. Don't even think about hiding." Seeing Lin Feng say this, Xiao Wu also knew that she couldn't escape this calamity. However, she couldn't take the beating alone. She rolled her eyes and looked at Tang San, who was in a daze. "Feng Ge, third brother hasn't exchanged pointers for more than a month. Let's fight together." Tang San had an "I knew it" expression. Zhu Zhuqing was even more curious. Xiao Wu was a battle soul master, but now there was also a control-type soul master. Just as she was about to ask, Xiao Wu actually said to her, "Take Shi also wants to come? If the three of us fight together, we might really be able to beat Feng Ge." Lin Feng is just an auxiliary-type soul master. Zhu Zhuqing had a look of bewilderment. At this moment, she was certain that something shocking must have happened when she was unconscious yesterday. "Yes," Xiao Wu asked with a matter-of-fact face. "Is there a problem?" "Yeah." Zhu Zhuqing suddenly felt that the world seemed to have become unfamiliar overnight. Since when was an auxiliary-type soul master able to exchange pointers with 3 battle soul masters of the same level? Looking at Zhu Zhuqing's confused little eyes, Lin Feng waved his hand and said, "Xiao Wu, Xiao San, I'll give you half a minute to recover. After half a minute, I'll start attacking." Oh, hearing this, Xiao Wu didn't invite Zhu Zhuqing again. Instead, she immediately meditated to recover. Tang San also meditated. Just now, he had practiced for more than half an hour. If he didn't recover, his physical strength would still be consumed. Zhu Zhuqing was stunned for a moment, but her temperament was like that. She didn't ask much, but took a few steps back and waited quietly. No matter how many doubts she had in her heart, when the two sides fought later, it would be clear. Chapter 74. Half a minute passed very quickly. Lin Feng clenched his fists. "Let's start the spar." As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Wu's martial soul instantly possessed her body and rushed straight towards Lin Feng. Tang San's first soul ring lit up, and his blue-silver grass turned into more than 10 ferocious grass snakes that coiled around Lin Feng. The two of them attacked from the left and right at the same time, and Lin Feng was overwhelmed. Although Zhu Zhuqing had seen this scene of tacit cooperation once yesterday, she was still amazed when she saw it again today. These two were really powerful. At the same time, she became more and more curious about Lin Feng. How powerful was Lin Feng to be able to make Xiao Wu and Tang San treat him so seriously? The moment this thought popped into his head, Lin Feng moved. Facing Tang San's grass snakes, Lin Feng did not retreat. Instead, his hands turned into millstones and actually grabbed the pile of vines. At the same time, Lin Feng leaned to the side to dodge Xiao Wu's pounce. With a shake of his body, the vines in his hands turned into a grass circle and actually wrapped around Xiao Wu. Seeing this, Tang San originally wanted to use his second soul skill to parasitize, but Xiao Wu was also on the vines, so he could only quickly approach and rescue her first. Feng Ge. Suddenly, Xiao Wu shouted, "Second soul skill, charm." Taking advantage of the moment when Lin Feng turned his head, Xiao Wu's eyes suddenly flashed with peach blossoms, and she looked directly at Lin Feng. This was a type of spiritual attack, and Lin Feng did not have any special defense skills, so he could only take it head-on. Fortunately, Lin Feng's mind was firm, and the gap between the two was too big, so he quickly came back to his senses. In fact, Lin Feng could have used his soul power surge to cause a backlash to Xiao Wu. However, she would have been injured if he did that, so Lin Feng decided to take it head-on. In the blink of an eye, Tang San had already rescued Xiao Wu. Furthermore, Tang San's vines had already wrapped around Lin Feng's entire body, activating his parasitic ability. At the same time, Xiao Wu also jumped and attacked Lin Feng. It had to be said that the two's reaction was really fast. In just a short second, they launched another fierce attack. This quick reaction made even Zhu Zhuqing, an agility-type soul master, feel somewhat ashamed. But in the next second, a scene that shocked Zhu Zhuqing appeared. Bang! Lin Feng's soul force rippled from his body. With a shake of his hands, Tang San's vines were all broken. This was not the end. Xiao Wu was in the air, but Lin Feng actually reached out with one hand and accurately grabbed her ankle. The latter wanted to change her move in the air, but Lin Feng grabbed some broken vines and directly tied Xiao Wu's feet up. "Okay, you're already my captive." After saying this to Xiao Wu, Lin Feng seemed to have eyes on the back of his head. He reached out and blocked Tang San's flying kick. Tang San's expression changed. He split his blue-silver grass into two strands. One strand flew towards Xiao Wu in an attempt to save her, while the other strand flew towards Lin Feng in an attempt to stop him. However, the difference in strength was too big. Lin Feng suddenly slapped the ground and soared into the air to dodge the vines. At the same time, he kicked Tang San lightly and sent him flying. After landing, Lin Feng catapulted towards Tang San in an instant. He still wanted to resist, but at this time, Lin Feng had completely closed in on him. There was no suspense in the battle. In less than a few seconds, Tang San was directly beaten to the ground by Lin Feng. At this point, the sparring session that lasted less than half a minute ended. "Feng Ge, you've become stronger again." Tang San massaged his shoulders and stood up. "It's just SOSO. I'm just a little bit stronger than you guys. As long as you guys train hard, it won't be long before you surpass me." "Feng Ge, you always say this," Xiao Wu said bitterly. "It's been 5 years, but third brother, and I haven't been able to catch up to you." Lin Feng didn't say anything and sighed. "Sigh. It's also a sin to be strong." The immeasurable flower appeared, and 2 green lights flew into Xiao Wu and Tang San's bodies. In just a few seconds, the two of them were full of energy and their soul power was rapidly recovering. At this time, the shocked Zhu Zhuqing had already recovered her cold and cheerless appearance. She walked over and said softly, "You're an auxiliary-type soul master. You're different from what I imagined." Xiao Wu laughed. "Feng Ge is very strong, even more powerful than a soul battle master, but he relied on the recovery effect of his martial soul and pretended that he was an auxiliary-type soul master." Lin Feng gave her a knock on the head. "What do you mean pretended? I'm obviously an auxiliary type." At this time, Lin Feng's stomach growled. "The cafeteria isn't open. Let's go to the village to buy something to eat." "The cafeteria isn't open. These people are too lazy." Xiao Wu was surprised. After they woke up, they went straight to the cafeteria for their morning exercise. They hadn't been to the cafeteria yet, and just as they were about to go, they didn't expect to receive this news. Grumbling was grumbling. But the four of them quickly left the academy and walked towards the village. The academy's work and rest time was a bit late, but most of the people in the village still woke up quite early. As a matter of fact, not far from the entrance of the academy, they found a small shop. However, this shop didn't sell breakfast, but this wasn't an issue in front of money. Lin Feng threw down a silver coin, and the shop owner immediately ran to make breakfast for everyone. Xiao Wu and Tang San were already used to Lin Feng's extravagant behavior, but Zhu Zhuqing was slightly surprised. A silver coin wasn't much to a sole grandmaster who received 10 gold coins a month, but if it was only used to let the four of them eat breakfast, then it was a bit extravagant. Moreover, Lin Feng and the other two felt that this behavior was very normal. From this, it could be seen that these people were the kind that spent money rather extravagantly. From this, it also showed that these three people should be very rich. During breakfast, Zhu Zhuqing asked about Lin Feng. She didn't ask much, but Xiao was very enthusiastic and talked a lot. After a meal, Zhu Zhuqing also learned a lot about Lin Feng. At the same time, the three of them also learned a bit about her situation. Similar to what Lin Feng thought, Zhu Zhuqing didn't tell the truth and just casually made up an identity. After eating, the three of them prepared to return to the academy. However, just as they left the restaurant, they heard the sound of an argument not far away. Everyone looked over and saw that it should be a young couple. The young girl was gentle and weak, wearing simple clothes, and the young man wasn't tall, short, and fat. Ma Hongjun, you're very good to me, but I really can't stand you. We're not suitable for each other. You should find someone else. Cui Hua, your words are too hurtful. What do you mean you can't stand me? But we can break up. If you do it with me again, then I'll agree. Otherwise, no way. After Ma Hongjun finished speaking, he stretched out his hand and grabbed Cui Hua. Don't, just let me go. Are you human or not? Cui Hua was like a panicked little rabbit as she hurriedly retreated. However, Ma Hongjun was even faster as he grabbed her hand. On the other side, Tang San was stunned. Ma Hongjun, isn't that the third student that Dai Mubai mentioned? He's even the dean's disciple. This guy is too bad. He actually dares to snatch a girl in broad daylight. After saying that, Xiao Wu immediately ran over and shouted, "Stop! Let go of that girl." Chapter 75. Yo, what a pretty girl. Do you want to be my girlfriend? Ma Hongjuan's eyes lit up when he saw Xiao Wu. Bullsh asterisk T. Xiao Wu pulled Cui Hua away and looked at Ma Hongjun with disgust. How can the academy have someone like you? She never thought that the dean's disciple would be such a lecherous wastrel. What? You're all new students this year? Ma Hongjuan's face darkened. How can new students be so arrogant? How dare you meddle in my business? Lin Feng and the other three were all unfamiliar faces, and they were all around 12 years old. Coupled with Xiao Wu's words, Ma Hongjun immediately knew their identities. What? You're snatching a girl in broad daylight, and you still think you're in the right. With that, Xiao Wu was ready to make a move. This is our business. Little girl, stop being an eyesore. You're really meddling in other people's business. Ma Hongjun was also annoyed and scolded her. Because of his mutated martial soul, Ma Hongjuan's temper wasn't very good. He could control himself when it came to people he knew, but when it came to strangers, he unleashed his nature. Cough, cough. Actually, according to Lin Feng's words, a child's temper was always bad because he was spoiled. A beating would be enough. You. Very good. Today, I must teach you a good lesson. The furious Xiao Wu directly made a move. Tang Xin still wanted to make a move, but since Xiao Wu had already made the first move, then let her do it. In any case, with Feng Gu at the side, there was no need to worry about getting hurt. How dare a new student be so arrogant? Have a taste of my evil phoenix's power. After knowing that Xiao Wu was also a spirit master, Ma Hongjun didn't need to hide anymore. He directly possessed his martial soul and opened his mouth to spit out a mouthful of flames. This time, Ma Hongjun was only testing the waters. He held back a lot of his strength, afraid that he would hurt his junior. However, when Xiao Wu quickly dodged the line of fire and was possessed by her martial spirit, he no longer hesitated and unleashed his full power. Feng Gu, who do you think will win? Tang Sin knew the power of a mutated martial spirit, so he was worried about Xiao Wu. Furthermore, Ma Hongjun was a senior student who had only been in the academy for 1 or 2 years. Perhaps he was already a soul elder. Tang San was afraid that Xiao Wu would be at a disadvantage with her soul grandmaster strength. It's just a soul grandmaster. Are you afraid that Xiao Wu won't be able to beat him? Tang San, this guy, was really confused because he was too concerned. The gap between the two of them was too big. As long as Xiao Wu exerted a little of her original strength, how could she lose? Oh, I worry too much. Tang San also realized this. On the side, Zhu Zhuqing was speechless. It's just a soul grandmaster. Are you looking down on soul grandmasters? Aren't you all soul grandmasters? However, when he recalled the battle on the field just now, Zhu Zhuqing immediately shut himself up. These 3 people were all stronger than her, especially Lin Feng, an auxiliary type fighting 2 soul warriors. This was ridiculous. Peng, peng, ta. While Zhu Zhuqing was ridiculing in his heart, Xiao had already gotten close to Ma Hongjun. Then, she seized the opportunity to use her charm and threw him to the ground. His posture was a classic dog eating shit. Phoenix. Call you Phoenix. You're obviously a chicken. Xiao Wu stepped on Ma Hongjun's back with a disdainful look. How is this possible? At this moment, Ma Hongjun, who was on the ground, had a face of disbelief. They were both soul grandmasters. How could a freshman be so strong? In just a few short seconds, he was defeated. Moreover, he couldn't resist at all. You're just a freshman. How can you be so strong? Oomph. Xiao Wu's face was full of pride. When I was in the soul hunting forest, you were still playing with mud. In these few years, Xiao Wu and Tang San's combat experience had increased too much. Not only against soul beasts, sometimes when they encountered some unreasonable soul masters, the 2 of them would teach them a lesson. Moreover, Lin Feng had taught the 2 of them a principle, which was that even a lion would use its full strength to hunt a rabbit. Xiao Wu didn't know how strong Ma Hongjun was, so she used her soul skill from the beginning and fought with her strongest state. The latter was still trying to probe at the beginning, so his reaction was half a beat slower. In addition, in terms of soul power, even if Xiao Wu deliberately hit it, she could still display the strength of around rank 30. Ma Hongjun was currently only rank 28. The gap was huge. Therefore, it was normal for the winner to be decided in just a few seconds. Second soul skill, Phoenix Bath. After being defeated so quickly just now, Ma Hongjun's mind was in a daze, so he didn't have time to resist. Now that he was being ridiculed, his temper couldn't stand it. With a low shout, Ma Hongjun's entire body emitted blazing flames. However, Xiao Wu frowned and hit Ma Hongjun's neck with a hand knife. The latter groaned and fainted. Zhu Zhuqing, Cui Hua, Dai Mubai, who had just rushed over from afar. After being stunned for a few seconds, Dai Mubai immediately ran over. What's going on? Why are they fighting? Tang San immediately went to explain, but Lin Feng gave Xiao Wu a thumbs up, expressing his appreciation for her decisiveness. In the situation just now, if Ma Hongjun got up, it might have taken a lot of effort. Xiao Wu decisively knocked him out, which was the best choice. After listening to Tang San's explanation, Dai Mubai said awkwardly, Fatty is like this. Last time, I said that his martial soul is a bit special, so he'll be fine after beating. After saying a few words to Cui Hua, Dai Mubai grabbed Ma Hongjun and went back to school with everyone. On the way back, the few of them discussed the problem of the school's cafeteria. Dai Mubai said, their school's cafeteria was built in cooperation with a few aunties in the village. Because the teachers and students in the school usually woke up at almost 8 o'clock, the aunties had a habit of finishing breakfast at 8 o'clock. They didn't expect Lin Feng and the rest to wake up so early, so breakfast wasn't ready yet. So when they walked near the field, the 2 sides separated. Dai Mubai brought Ma Hongjun, who was woken up by Lin Feng, to the cafeteria while the rest of them waited at the field. When they left, Ma Hongjun was still cursing, but after being slapped by Dai Mubai, he immediately became obedient. The school's opening ceremony won't be here later, right? Looking at the empty field, Xiao was a bit surprised. This was the first day of school. Even if there weren't many people in the school, there should still be a sense of ceremony. When they were in elementary school, the principal would give a speech every time the school started. Although Lin Feng and the rest had never heard of it, there was still a sense of atmosphere. But now there was no one in the field. When the wind blew, there were even a few fallen leaves. It was really desolate. Opening ceremony? I don't think there will be such a thing. Lin Feng smiled and said, "This Shrek Academy is different from other schools. Don't look at it with common sense. Didn't Dai Mubai say that today is the first day of class? Everyone, prepare well and recover your condition." Chapter 76. Because Lin Feng and the others were in the field, Dai Mubai and the others soon arrived after finishing their breakfast. As soon as they met, Ma Hongjun and Xiao Wu didn't seem to see eye to eye. Oscar and Ning Rongrong were puzzled. After asking Xiao Wu, they finally understood what had happened. How can there be such a student? Ning Rongrong immediately distanced herself from Ma Hongjun with a look of disgust. Can you blame me for this? Ma Hongjun felt very helpless after being disdained by a group of freshmen. He didn't want to, but since it had already happened, he could only accept it. Furthermore, he had just asked Dai Mubai about Lin Feng and the other two. They were all ridiculously strong, and he had personally experienced Xiao Wu's strength. As for that Lin Feng who could send teacher Zhao flying with a single punch, Ma Hongjun couldn't even begin to imagine how strong he was. In any case, sending him flying with a single punch wasn't a problem. At this moment, he only dared to glare at Xiao Wu. As for revenge, let's talk about it. After his strength surpassed a few people, a group of people conversed on the field. At the northeast corner of the field, Flanders was secretly observing everyone, and Zhao Wuji was standing beside him. "Old Ghost, what do you think about that kid called Lin Feng?" Zhao Wuji suddenly asked. "Yesterday, his 10,000-year soul skill could even temporarily bind me. His physical fitness is also ridiculously strong." Flanders pondered. Didn't he say he was an auxiliary type? His first soul skill can heal others. I think he should be the same as that kid Hongjun. He also has a mutated martial soul. I guess so too. Otherwise, why would his second soul ring be 10,000 year? Furthermore, his soul skill is so strange. Zhao Wuji curled his lips as he recalled yesterday's embarrassing incident. These kids are all monsters, especially Lin Feng. He's a monster among monsters. Flanders sighed. Then he smiled and said, "All right, it's about time. I should go out. As for you, if you're afraid of making a fool of yourself, then go back. You old ghost, you only know how to gloat." Zhao Wuji snorted and left. Being sent flying by Lin Feng wasn't a big deal. Zhao Wuji was supposed to show up on the first day of school. However, he was beaten up by Tang Hao the night before, and his face was still swollen. Zhao Wuji was not that thick-skinned to go out with a swollen face. After Zhao Wuji walked away, Flanders straightened his clothes and walked towards the field calmly. "The principal is here," Dai Mubai reminded everyone. Everyone immediately quieted down and looked at Flanders, who was walking over. Lin Feng was the same. However, unlike everyone else's curiosity, Lin Feng's eyes were full of scrutiny. Flanders didn't look old. He was about 50 years old, and his body was very sturdy. He wasn't as sturdy as Zhao Wuji's, but rather well-proportioned. His appearance wasn't ordinary. It wasn't that he was handsome, but it was a little special. It felt like the sole of a shoe. This wasn't belittling or anything, but it really did look like it. If one stepped on it, they would probably cough, what were they thinking? However, the pair of black-framed crystal glasses on Flanders' face was really interesting. After wearing them, he gave off a very cunning feeling. Just as Lin Feng was criticizing Flanders in his heart, he walked in front of the 8 people and stopped in his tracks. Not bad. This year is a little beyond my expectations. The Academy has actually produced 5 more little monsters. Flanders' voice was very magnetic. At this moment, it gave off a serious feeling. "It's me, Shrek Academy's Dean, Flanders, representing the Academy to welcome you all." Before everyone could clap as usual, he continued, "In a moment, each of you new students will go to Teacher Li and pay 100 gold coins. Mubai will bring you there. Yes, Dean. Dai Mubai stepped forward. His eyes were actually filled with admiration. Also, you have to tell them some of the academy's rules. After paying the tuition fees, all of you can go back and rest. Recover to your best condition. Your first class will begin tonight. Okay. Dai Mubai nodded. Seeing that Flanders suddenly stopped talking, Xiao Wu whispered, "That's it. Classes started at night, and now they were all going back to rest." This was really out of Xiao Wu's expectations. She thought there would be some special test. Flanders glanced at her and then said, "Lin Feng, Ning Rongrong, and Oscar will stay. The others can go first." "All right. Don't blame me for not reminding you. Our academy's teaching is different from other places. Even if you're in class, you can still face danger." Hearing this, Oscar had a bitter look on his face. Ma Hongjun and Dai Mubai, on the other hand, looked as if they had expected it. Then Dai Mubai said, "The rest of you follow me. I'll bring you to Teacher Li." However, Tang San said, "Wait, let's take a look first." Lin Feng was here, so he and Xiao Wu weren't in a hurry to leave. The two of them were very curious about how the dean taught. The three people that Flanders called for all had auxiliary-type martial souls. This should be the reason why they were left alone. At the same time, Tang San felt that it was strange. Why did they have to teach at night? The two of them didn't leave. Zhu Zhuqing, who was originally going to leave, stayed behind. Dai Mubai did the same. The freshman didn't leave with him, so why should he leave? On the other hand, Ma Hongjun, who had already walked a few steps, retreated with a guilty conscience when he saw that no one was leaving. It was like the teacher had clearly said that school was over, but you were the only one in the classroom who packed your bag and left. After you walked out of the classroom for a long time, no one followed you. At this time, you would wonder if you had heard wrongly. They're all staying? Seeing this scene, Flanders had a strange expression, but he quickly reacted. Since you're all staying, you're all curious, right? That's fine too. I'll tell you how to cultivate as an auxiliary-type soul master. After speaking, he waved at the three people who were called out. Lin Feng and the other two cooperated and took a step forward, arriving in front of Flanders. The latter said in a deep voice, "Every soul master has different cultivation methods because of their different martial souls. In Douluo's continent, there are almost no martial souls that are exactly the same. Therefore, the Academy has no way to teach you how to cultivate your martial souls, but we can still teach you how to use your martial souls. The most important thing for auxiliary-type soul masters is to support their comrades, and the prerequisite for supporting their comrades is to protect themselves. No matter what kind of battle, auxiliary-type soul masters are the priority targets for others to kill. Therefore, how to increase the survivability of auxiliary-type soul masters is what I'm going to teach you." Flanders' words were novel to Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing, especially Ning Rongrong, who nodded repeatedly as she listened. However, to Tang San and Xiao Wu, they felt that it was very familiar. This was because the great master had said it before, and so had Lin Feng. In fact, the two of them had said it in more detail than Flanders. Chapter 77. Ignoring everyone's thoughts, Flanders continued. "The three of you are support-type soul masters. One is an attribute bonus. One is an attribute bonus. One is an attribute bonus. And the last one is a healer. These are all very powerful abilities, but soul masters like you need someone to protect you, whether it's on the battlefield or during normal times. Otherwise, it'll be very difficult for you to survive." Flanders glanced at the three of them and asked, "Now, tell me, what is the most important thing for support-type soul masters to do in a battle?" Flanders' voice was relatively loud, as if he wanted everyone to hear him. Oscar, as a veteran, was the first to speak. After thinking for a while, he said, "I think that support-type soul masters should stay away from dangerous areas. If danger approaches, we should use the terrain, buildings, and even our companions to avoid danger. Then, under such circumstances, we should support others." It was a very standard answer. After all, survival was the prerequisite for support. If everyone died, there was no need to talk about support. Flanders nodded and was the second to look at Ning Rongrong, as if he was asking, Of course it's to run after adding the status. It's best to find a place to hide and not let the enemy find us. Although Ning Rongrong's words were weak, there was a hint of righteousness in her tone. Hearing this, everyone couldn't help but laugh, causing Ning Rongrong to be puzzled. What? Did I say something wrong? It wasn't to the extent of saying something wrong, but it could be said that she was too naive, run after adding the status, and not even care about her teammates? Wasn't that a joke? How far could a support type Soul Master run? And hide? Did she think the enemy was a fool, playing hide-and-seek with her? On the battlefield, a support-type Soul Master who left his teammates would immediately have the word danger appear above his head. Let's listen to what Lin Feng has to say. Flanders smiled and didn't explain anything to Ning Rongrong. After hearing his words, everyone immediately looked at Lin Feng. Everyone was curious about the thoughts of this support-type Soul Master who could send teacher Zhao flying with one punch. It's simple. Lin Feng smiled and said, I think the best definition of a support is to kill all of your teammates' enemies. This way, your teammates won't have any enemies. Good for you, good for me, good for everyone. Everyone. Looking at the strange expressions on everyone's faces, Lin Feng scratched the back of his head. What's wrong? Is there a problem? His support was very strong. For those who felt that support was weak, when the hundreds of stacks of passive spells gave them a set of skills, they would know what pain was. Li. Impressive. Oscar's eyes had a hint of eagerness. Although Lin Feng's words were somewhat unrealistic, it could be considered the ultimate dream of all supports. Ning Rongrong was slightly stunned. She never thought that Lin Feng would say something like that. While the others felt strange, they also felt that it was very normal. After all, Lin Feng's strength was really too strong. Flanders coughed twice to ease the awkwardness, then said, That's a relatively new understanding. You're not wrong, but there are almost no support-type Soul Masters who can do this. Maybe you have a powerful attack because of your mutated martial soul, but for most support-type Soul Masters, being able to stay alive is already very impressive. And when it comes to staying alive, escaping quickly is a skill that support-type Soul Masters must master. A support-type Soul Master who doesn't know how to escape isn't a good Soul Master. So today, Oscar, Ning Rongrong, the two of you, run 20 laps around the village for me. If you don't finish by noon, you won't have to eat lunch. As soon as he finished speaking, Ning Rongrong asked, What about Wang Feng? Why isn't he running? His physical fitness is already very strong. This kind of running exercise won't have much effect on him. After thinking for a while, Flanders smiled and said, Lin Feng, you'll supervise the two of them until they finish running today. If one of them doesn't finish running, the three of you won't be able to eat. Looking at Flanders' smiling face, Lin Feng didn't know why, but he felt like he had been schemed against, but he still agreed. On the other hand, Ning Rongrong's expression was slightly strange. The day before yesterday, she had been tricked by Lin Feng, and this time, she was even being supervised. She felt that it was a little difficult. Without needing to shout, Oscar immediately started running. Seeing this, Ning Rongrong immediately followed. There was no use in thinking too much, so she just wanted to run one lap first. That's right. Today is the first day, so the two of you can use your soul power and soul skills. Flanders shouted at the two of them. After speaking, Flanders waved at Tang San. You come with me, the rest of you can leave. The dean called out to Tang San alone. Although everyone was curious, they didn't stay any longer and quickly left. At this moment, after Lin Feng gave Xiao Wu a reassuring look, he calmly chased after Ning Rongrong. Lin Feng's speed wasn't something the two of them could compare to. He easily caught up to the two of them and then walked leisurely to the side. He was clearly just walking, but for some reason, Lin Feng's speed was actually faster than the two of them running. That Lin Feng, aren't you also a Soul Grandmaster? Why are you walking faster than us running? After running for a while, Ning Rongrong couldn't help but ask. Lin Feng said mercilessly, You're weak, but that doesn't mean others are weak. Can't you see that Oscar is running so slowly because he's deliberately waiting for you? It wasn't the first time Oscar had run. Lin Feng was right. The reason why he was running so slowly was because he was waiting for someone. No, it's just that running together is more interesting than running alone. Otherwise, it would be too boring to run alone, Oscar said. Although he didn't say it clearly, Ning Rongrong could tell that Oscar was waiting for her. She couldn't accept this at all. She snorted softly and used her soul skill, leaving Oscar far behind in an instant. Oscar, Lin Feng helplessly spread out his hands. Then he quickly walked a few steps and caught up with Ning Rongrong. Oscar didn't hide anymore and sped up. His speed clearly wasn't boosted, but he was actually only a little slower than Ning Rongrong. This scene made Ning Rongrong very unwilling to admit defeat. She kept running with her status buff. During this time, Lin Feng didn't have the patience to watch them run, so he directly went to a small hill nearby. The view here was very good. Lin Feng could meditate and observe the two of them at the same time. It was very convenient. After more than 10 minutes, Ning Rongrong's physical strength and soul power were rapidly depleting. At this moment, Oscar actually caught up to her again. The moment Oscar overtook her, it was like the last straw that broke the camel's back. Ning Rongrong stopped running while panting. "I'm so tired. How much more?" Hearing Ning Rongrong's question, Oscar also stopped and answered, "We've already run more than half of this lap. It'll be the second lap soon." Chapter 78. What? You haven't even finished one round after running for so long? Ning Rongrong said in disbelief. "Doesn't that mean that we won't be able to eat lunch?" Ning Rongrong's soul power and stamina had been depleted by a third in just 10 minutes. If this continued, they might not even be able to eat dinner, let alone lunch. "Don't worry, I'm a food-type soul master. You won't starve." Oscar smiled. "My first soul skill is recovery. It's very powerful. Not only can it speed up the healing of injuries, but it can also restore stamina." With that, Oscar shouted, "I have a big sausage," and a sausage appeared in his hand. "Eat my sausage and you'll definitely be able to finish 20 laps before dinner." Ning Rongrong had a weird look on her face and said in disdain, "You can keep it for yourself." With that, she looked left and right. When she didn't see Lin Feng, she heaved a sigh of relief and walked toward Soto City. He shouted, "It's impossible to run all the way here. You can run by yourself. I'm going out to play." That disdainful look made Oscar feel uncomfortable. He didn't know what to say for a moment. When Ning Rongrong walked for more than 10 meters, he shouted, "The dean will punish you if you don't finish running. He dares." Ning Rongrong snorted. She seemed to have remembered her identity, and her footsteps became more cheerful. Seeing this, Oscar ate his sausage helplessly. He looked around, and when he didn't see Lin Feng, he sighed and continued running. On the other side, Ning Rongrong arrived at the edge of the village easily. She thought to herself, "This Lin Feng doesn't even know where he went to play. Just this? What supervision?" Right at this moment, she suddenly realized that there was a very familiar figure at the intersection in front. Lin Feng? Ning Rongrong was a little surprised. Lin Feng turned around and said calmly, "You're here?" As soon as Ning Rongrong left, he noticed it and waited for her on the path that she had to pass. "Are you waiting for me to go to the city with you?" Ning Rongrong thought that Lin Feng also wanted to slack off. "You tricked me last time, so this time you're here to apologize to me. Since that's the case, I'll reluctantly agree to let you play with me." Hearing this, a question mark slowly appeared above Lin Feng's head. Doesn't this girl know what's going on? "Ning Rongrong, what do you think you should do now? What are you doing?" Of course, they were going to the city to have a good meal. Then, halfway through her sentence, Ning Rongrong thought for a moment. Suddenly, her expression darkened. "You're not asking me to go back and continue running, are you? That's a mission that's impossible to complete. You haven't even tried. How do you know it's impossible?" Lin Feng's tone was neither fast nor slow. "I've already tried. I've worked myself to death for more than 10 minutes and only ran half a lap. At most, I can run one lap and my stamina will be exhausted. I can't even finish 20 laps in a day." Ning Rongrong was also a smart person. She knew that Lin Feng was strong and had a high IQ. Facing this kind of person, she could only use a soft approach because she would only be at a disadvantage if she used force. "So this is your reason for going out to play? Do you think this is right?" What's wrong with this? The dean gave me this mission to play with me. I don't want to be played by him. Can't I just play for a day? As long as you don't say anything, he won't know. Saying this, Ning Rongrong took out 10 gold coins from her pocket. How about this? In the future, when you supervise me, don't do anything wrong, and these 10 gold coins are yours. Hearing this, Lin Feng suddenly laughed. At first, his voice was very soft, but became louder and louder. Ning Rongrong frowned slightly. She thought that it was the same as last time, that Lin Feng thought that the money was too little. She immediately said, "You think the money is too little, right? I'll give you 50 gold coins. This is just a matter of moving your mouth. If you're greedy again, I won't give it to you." "Do you think I'm laughing at this?" Lin Feng suddenly said in a serious tone. "I'm laughing at your ignorance. I'm laughing at your narrow-mindedness." Ignorance? Ning Rongrong was furious. For a moment, she didn't care about her status and shouted, "I'm the #1 genius of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect. I've seen more things than you've eaten rice. You're saying that I'm ignorant?" Ning Rongrong didn't only bring out her unruly nature from the 7 Treasures Glazed sect, but also her pride. The 7 Treasures Glazed sect, one of the 3 upper sects, had 2 titled law. Under the support of sect master Ning Fengji, they could be regarded as 4 titled law. Such a huge force was one of the top existences in the entire continent. At this moment, Lin Feng actually said that the people of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect were ignorant. This was unacceptable to Ning Rongrong. Facing the imposing Ning Rongrong, Lin Feng's expression was as calm as ever, and he lightly spat out a sentence. "Where's your genius?" Ning Rongrong was about to explode from anger at this moment. She directly blurted out, "My innate rank 9 soul power? I'm the only soul master in the history of the sect who reached rank 25 at the age of 12. My father said that my martial soul might be the first in history to advance to the 8 Treasures Glazed Pagoda. So this is your pride?" Lin Feng's mouth was full of disdain. Ning Rongrong arrogantly raised her neck and stared at Lin Feng. "Isn't this enough? So the so-called #1 genius of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect is like this? You only dare to compete in your own sect, and don't even dare to compete with outsiders. In my opinion, this 7 Treasures Glazed sect isn't that great." Ning Rongrong gritted her teeth. "You actually dared to look down on my 7 Treasures Glazed sect. My sect has 2 titled Douluo and is one of the strongest forces in the entire continent. So, what does the 7 Treasures Glazed sect's strength have to do with you? Can you represent the entire sect?" Ning Rongrong didn't even think and said, "Of course I can. So what if you can? Aren't you a piece of trash yourself?" Lin Feng pointed at Ning Rongrong. "Is your innate rank 9 soul power very strong? Let me tell you, me, Tang San, Xiao Wu, and even Oscar, we all have innate full soul power." At first, Ning Rongrong wanted to refute that she wasn't a piece of trash, but when she heard that Lin Feng and Oscar also had innate full soul power, her face was full of disbelief. It's fine if you have a mutated martial soul, but Oscar has a food-type martial soul. It's impossible for him to have innate full soul power. Ignorant. Lin Feng scolded mercilessly. "Let's not talk about innate full soul power for now. Do you think that you, the #1 genius of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect, with only rank 26 soul power, is very strong? Tang San, Xiao Wu, me, and Zhu Zhuqing, the 4 of us are the same age as you. Which one of us isn't stronger than you?" After being scolded by Lin Feng, Ning Rongrong's face turned red. She stubbornly said, "I'm only an auxiliary-type soul master. Isn't it normal for me to cultivate slower than you guys? Only an auxiliary-type soul master? How dare you say that? Are you saying that I'm not an auxiliary-type soul master?" Lin Feng's voice gradually became louder. "Also, why should auxiliary-type soul masters cultivate slower than others? In the end, it's just laziness. You have the best resources in the sect and the guidance of high-level soul masters. But in your eyes, you just casually exercise once or twice. And that's called hard work? That's called hard work. Do you know how Tang San and I lived when we were studying in Notting City. Lin Feng smiled. Actually, it wasn't much. We just went to the soul-hunting forest every weekend and fought with ferocious old beasts. Sometimes, during the holidays, we liked to stay in the depths of the soul-hunting forest and look for soul beasts that were over 500 years old to play with. We even encountered thousand-year soul beasts that put us in a life and death situation. If it weren't for our good luck, we wouldn't have to come to Shrek Academy to study. When we were in school, other than go to class during the day, we were doing hard physical training in the afternoon and at night. Do you think it's difficult to run 20 laps around the village? That's just a small part of our training. Let's not talk about me and Tang San, the two boys. Let's talk about Xiao Wu. She doesn't even use the slightest bit of soul power and can finish running for you in half a day. She doesn't even pant. Do you think we've only been living like this for a few days? No. We've been living like this week after week, month after month, year after year. At this point, Lin Feng paused for a moment to let Ning Rongrong calm down. Then, he continued, Ning Rongrong, do you think you're still a genius? Ning Rongrong's eyes were red as she stared blankly at Lin Feng. For a moment, she didn't know what to say. In the sect, she heard all kinds of people flattering her. The so-called #1 genius halo made her incomparably proud. If what Lin Feng said was true, then Ning Rongrong's pride was a joke. Lin Feng changed his angle and asked, take a guess. Tang San, Xiao Wu, and I think we're geniuses? Ning Rongrong nodded subconsciously. Ignorant. Lin Feng shouted in a low voice. The so-called genius is only in the eyes of others. If you're stronger than others, others will think you're a genius. If you think you're a genius, then you're an idiot. On the path of a spirit master's cultivation, the biggest enemy has always been himself. Lin Feng said earnestly. In everyone's heart, there are countless obstacles. You've crossed one, and you think this is the last one? Actually, it's not. There are countless obstacles behind. What we can do is to try our best to cross as many obstacles as possible. Now, your 20 laps today is the first obstacle you have to face. It might be nothing if you cross it, but if you don't, you'll always be a useless person. I won't stop you now. If you want to go to Soto City to eat, drink, and have fun for a day, please go ahead. If you want to become stronger and not become the most useless person in Shrek Academy, then finish these 20 laps and continue to work hard. Think about it yourself. The #1 genius of the 7 treasures glazed sect. After saying that, Lin Feng didn't stop and directly walked into the village. However, he didn't walk fast. It could even be said that he walked very slowly. The sound of every step on the ground could be heard clearly by Ning Rongrong's ears. Did you think that Lin Feng racked his brains to come up with these words? No. Lin Feng just said it casually. What a joke. Lin Feng was an old chicken soup maker. In these few years, Tang San and Xiao Wu had been fed chicken soup by him. Now look at what they've become. They're so obedient. Little Ning Rongrong. Isn't it easy for him to capture her? Sure enough, after taking a few steps, Ning Rongrong seemed to have understood something and turned around. She said excitedly, Lin Feng, we're both auxiliary-type spirit masters. I'll definitely surpass you. I'll definitely be stronger than you. Definitely. 20 laps. The corner of Lin Feng's mouth curled up slightly. He instantly quickened his pace. Today is the first day. I'll run with you. After this, you'll have to run by yourself. Accompanying these words was a faint green light that flew straight into Ning Rongrong's body. The soul power and physical strength that she had consumed earlier quickly recovered. Let's wait and see. Ning Rongrong clenched her fists and quickly chased after him. Ning Rongrong thought to herself. Lin Feng mocked her like this. In the future, she would definitely surpass him in terms of soul power and take revenge. With this energy, she didn't feel tired when she was running. Actually, this was all Ning Rongrong's misconception. If it weren't for Lin Feng secretly giving her a little recovery with her physical fitness, she wouldn't be able to run 2 laps. During this time, when they were running, Xiao Wu and Tang San actually joined in. This made Ning Rongrong even more excited because this meant that what Lin Feng said was true. He wasn't lying to her. Feng Gu, why are you running so slowly? Xiao Wu couldn't help but complain when she realized that Lin Feng kept running in front of Ning Rongrong. Slow. Lin Feng directly said, Xiao Wu, run 30 laps for me today. If you don't finish, you're not allowed to eat dinner. Feng Gu don't. Xiao was like this. She had clearly been beaten up this morning, and not long after, she was itching for a beating again. At this time, Lin Feng stared at Tang San next to him. What are you laughing at? Xiao San, you do the same. Run 30 laps with Xiao Wu. Looking at Tang San's face suddenly changed. Xiao Wu laughed happily again. Okay, Feng Gu, I promise to complete the task. We can't be so slow. Let's speed up. After that, Xiao Wu and Tang San almost doubled their speed and ran forward. Seeing this, Ning Rongrong's eyes were full of envy and admiration. A day passed quickly. When night fell, the 8 of them stood on the field full of energy. Flanders looked at Lin Feng. Have Ning Rongrong and Oscar finished their 20 laps? Yes, Lin Feng said calmly. After that, he added, Ning Rongrong said that she wants to attend tonight's class as well. Ning Rongrong was confused. She didn't say that. However, Lin Feng must have his reasons, so she didn't object. Flanders was stunned. Then he said with a smile, Okay, it's good to have this idea. Then, the 8 of you will attend the first class together. Flanders didn't doubt Lin Feng's claim that both of them finished their 20 laps. Because he saw it. He even saw the scene when Lin Feng scolded Ning Rongrong at the village entrance. However, he didn't hear what the 2 of them said. To be honest, he was very surprised that Lin Feng could handle Ning Rongrong. Especially now, Ning Rongrong also asked to attend the first class. He was even more surprised.